Alright, so we're gonna have this clown music for the entire recording. I hope we're ready.
God help us.
Just joking. We can go back to suppose this, I guess. It's not bad. Okay, so last time we were here, you did a bunch of different stuff, and the detective died, and but in the end, it doesn't even matter. So you've gotten this far.
Even matter.
Actual recap though. You went back to the vault to reunite with what's his fucking name? Definitely not Jesse. Jesse and Zacharias are two completely different characters, and I will not have you question that yet. But, yeah, no, you went to the vault, you fought a mercenary gang. Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. And then Zacharias pulled you in, you got to see some spooky shit, and then he offered you a ship. So that's where you come in. What are you doing?
Well,
Imagine Tim Thomas comatose on a fucking table with them.
Yeah, probably.
At this point, I think I've woken up already, if I'm not mistaken. I'd probably have to pull out a point of resolve then.
Well, you don't
speaking
have
of
to
which,
you don't
how
have
much-
to pull a point of resolve. You woke up after you suffered your weird delusion, and now you're back.
Yeah, which means I'm still gonna have to come back to the session with no resolve because I'm gonna have to use it to get my stamina back.
Wait, it says Malachi's logged in. What the fuck?
Yeah, don't worry
This
about
has been explained, but whatever.
it. So you know the drill. Refill your stamina, refill your resolve. If you don't have it.
So you get back 1 point to resolve if you didn't have any.
No,
Or-
you get back all of your resolve.
You get back all your resolve? Okay.
Well, I got back my resolve and then had to immediately.
No, that's not how that works. Refill your stamina and your resolve.
Oh, okay.
Great. Worked for me.
Apologies. All right then.
But we're still at whatever hit point you were at last time.
Correct. Your hit
Yeah.
points do not change.
Right. All right. So,
Alrighty then, Milksops. So what's
Fine.
going on?
So Yari is just kind to check over the others and make sure they're healing well.
Yeah, you're dancing from person to person, and while they may not be healing because, it's literally just been an hour or two, some of them are stable and some of them are up. For those of you that are up would be, of course, Inkos, Centurion, Timothy is still asleep, Vaku's up, and you yourself, Yareach, are up.
Yep.
All right.
Also, I would imagine that you hear the sounds of maybe like a toned down rushing water, and then the broom closet starts to rumble.
It's in the broom closet.
so the fucking broom closet is just now shaking. Like
Yeah.
there's something in there.
Yep.
Yari just going to go over
I'm
to
gonna-
the broom
I'm-
closet. And
I will also investigate.
Alright, you all open up the broom closet, and Carthenople just falls the fuck out.
Yep. Falls out. Got like a bucket hanging off a horn.
Yep.
How did you get here?
I just condensed back out of the mist.
Yep.
Fair enough.
You're definitely infected.
So I guess we should probably explain that to you. Yeah, that happens to us every once in a while. You just get unpersoned and you come back.
I noticed.
Just turned to
Welcome
mist.
to the gang. You
You're
can
just
potentially
gone.
disappear from the face of existence at any moment's notice. I'm sure that's not going to cause you any existential dread.
No, not really. Then Carthus gonna just dust himself off and kind of hop up to his feet.
Given
Expect-
we found him materializing out of a bush, I don't think this is news.
Oh, I forgot that was the first
I
encounter
like
we had
how
with him.
Cart reacts to this. Like, yeah, no, everything's fine.
Well, good to see you again. Could have used you a few hours ago.
Well, sure, look like it. Everybody all right though? At least alive.
All right is alive. Yes, that's the right word to use here. All right is definitely not. As I say, I'm probably wrapped up like a fucking mummy.
Oh yeah, no, you are covered in bandages, still having to, heal over the course. That being said, though, you all are currently situated in the med bay. Timothy Thomas is the only unconscious person. Zacharias has left in order to prepare some stuff that didn't relate to the party.
Well,
Just giving you a heads up of what's going on in your general vicinity.
I
So,
guess if I
Timothy
can get up and
snores.
walk around, I'd like to go and take a look at this ship that he's allowing us to use.
So, you have seen this ship once before, although it is in a broken down state. And I imagine a couple of the other party members are coming with you into the back area.
Yeah, I'd just like to take a look at it and
Yari just gonna stop by the person that was hanging up in the ceiling and ask her, "Are you doing all right?"
Hanging up in the ceiling?
Who the fuck was hanging?
The AI, not the AI, but the person.
Oh, you're gonna go and visit with the strange thing, yeah. So, you go ahead and you make it back into the hangar area, and what you find is kind of a scene of industry. There's a lot of shit that is just kind of stacked up everywhere that you haven't seen before. Crates that are half open and their contents have been spilled out and sorted in neat stacks. There are people currently working on it. They look like fairly competent mechanics. That being said, though, you surprisingly do not see a lot of Kiliad town members in this assorted industrial party. It looks like they're all brought in from out of this area.
Well,
The ship itself is in, for lack of a better term, okay condition. It's still definitely got a lot of the patch marks from its inoperable era. But you can see that certain engine blocks seem to be new and shiny. Some of them still have fresh coats of paint. The overall ship itself is dyed a sort of almost crimson red, although it's flaking in a lot of areas, and the ship itself is rather boxy and large. If I had a picture, I would share it, but I do not, so I'll just have to resort to describing it.
I guess if there's looking around the outside, just pacing. Shit, fuck. I guess after maybe looking around outside for a little while, I'd like to see if there's a way inside, or maybe if there's a mechanic working. I'd like to ask if it's safe to go inside right now.
So, what you would get from that is walking around, there are two primary doors on either side of the craft, meaning that there are 4 proper entrance and exit ramps on this vehicle. You approach one of the nearby engineers who is currently welding on a panel from the looks of it, and he kind of has to prop open his goggles just to get a good look at you. And you can tell that he is fairly shaken, but working on this with some kind of resolve that tells you that maybe they knew a bit more about the situation than you might think. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, nothing. I'm just one of the people that have come by to help relieve the siege in the vault. How's the can't English today. How's the progress in the ship going?
It's doing fine. So those fuckers outside are dead.
Quite dead.
Yep.
This thing. So, if you had to give me an estimate, when would this thing be airworthy, or is it already?
Well, I'm not the team lead, but from God, what was his fucking name? Havar? Yeah, I believe that he's the one in charge of maintaining this operation. It should be ready in the next few days.
Okay. Appreciate it. Let us know if you need anything, because we're kind of the owners of the ship now.
Well, I got a list if you want to take it.
A lift?
A list.
A list. Yeah, sure. Hand it over to him and put ERH.
Yeah, he goes ahead and takes a clipboard that currently has just a blank piece of copy paper on it and pushes it over to you.
Yari chuckles and just nods and
he kind of he bends down. He has to bend down, by the way, and just kind of like think for a good 10 minutes and bother you about each and every individual part that he's going to need more of. And you get a sense that he is like going into detail on what he is going to need. And it's probably not your job to do this.
Alright. Yari nods and says, "Alright, I'll contact the proper authorities."
The proper authorities.
You're gonna get the police.
No, I'm not the I don't even think we own it. I think your boss owns it still. We're just going to be passengers, aren't we?
Oh, you mean Zach? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
You kinda
okay,
take a step
I'm fucking
back.
up details. Then I forgot that we're just using it to get off the planet. I'm sorry. I'm extremely fuzzy on the fine details of the
It's
planet
okay.
station.
You just got rest.
Out of character is mostly this conversation, but yeah, sure. I'm just gonna shut up now.
Yeah,
Alright, fair enough. He just goes back to his work.
Yeah. So Yari just going to hold on clipboard and deliver it to someone who actually this job would be.
Eventually, you
wouldn't get
do
clearance.
find the person Havor by just bugging people and asking, but he takes the clipboard and just kind of gives you an almost like scornful look. But you go on your merry way.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly swipe one of the drones again, if I can.
Oh, you're trying to snatch up one of the fucking salvage drones?
Yes.
So you have to sneak your way back into the compartment, and you can tell that it is open, but as soon as you cross through the portal in the periphery, about 3 of them compared to maybe the dozen or so that were previously here, like their heads raise and their beady little glowing eyes lock onto you.
Yari.
And my eyes lock onto them.
Maniac.
So you're gonna start chasing them around.
I'm going to chase one round till I get one and properly examine it.
Fair enough. I imagine that others that are kind of in the complex, maybe engineers or some of the remaining guard that are loyal to the Stenham estate, just are in the midst of chatter before a little drone on a tiny little bird leg starts screeching through and running through the hallway with a moth right behind it.
I love Yari. I'm sorry. I love a lot of the scenes you do with him.
So, what are the rest of you doing? Do you have any imminent plans or goals, or are you just gonna let the days pass on?
Yari, once he's satisfied with drone, will
I imagine
go
I
to other
probably
big
wake up
tasks.
eventually.
Well,
Just kinda
that would probably
chill.
require you to maybe spend a day or so. You were put under anesthetic for maybe a bit of a recovery coma for a day. What was Vaku gonna do?
He's just kind of just chilling out, just tend to his wounds.
Fair enough. You all chill out and with nothing better to do.
I want to wait for Tim Tom to wake up before I do what I'm gonna do.
Yep. A day passes pretty easily. Some of you might spend some time outside having not grown accustomed to vaults yet, so going outside, getting some fresh air, enjoying your day, until the next day comes. And still administering some medical attention, you all would get your level back in HP, and Timothy, you would come back to consciousness.
Cool.
Level
So I'd be
in
at 1 HP right now. Or would
I'm
I be
at 7. Okay.
Oh,
Sure, do
forgive
you-
me. Medical attention. So add your level again. So a total of twice your level in HP restored.
All of
So
us.
6.
Yeah.
So I'm at 10 now. Okay.
Yes, I am back to full health and fit as a fiddle.
Excellent.
I imagine Tim Tom wakes up, coughs up a bit. Ow.
Covered in holes.
I forgot how much it hurts to get shot.
Yeah, it's not good being turned into what do you guys call it? A Swiss cheese?
I'm not a very big fan of cheese. I'm lactose intolerant.
I don't know
I
what
don't
it is,
even
Matt,
know
but
if my race can even eat cheese.
I have you turned up pretty high, and you're like fucking quiet.
Very
Okay,
true.
well, if that's the case, I can turn my gain up.
Yeah, dude. You gotta.
Does this sound better?
You are very
The
loud.
waveform looks way
How about
better now.
this?
Products.
Yep, that works.
Yeah. Tim Tom's like, yeah, I'm lactose intolerant.
I don't even think we
I got
evolved to eat
shot.
dairy products. Ugh.
Tim Tom like looks down at him. Mr. 447,
Yeah,
where are we?
vault. We've been here before.
Oh, like the kind of vault you use to keep valuable items?
Kinda.
In a sense. We're not far from Kiliad.
I mean, you remember us heading over here to help out Zacharias, right?
Yeah, and there was
Then
a
we
couple
got in that shootout with
bad
those
guys.
mercs.
Yeah.
I
Well, you're on
know
the other.
guy.
You're thankfully on the winning side of the aftermath of that firefight. We got him. Yeah, we're a little roughed up.
Just barely.
Tim Tom and me. As soon as you say, "Yeah, we're a little roughed up," Tim Tom stands up. I imagine one of his arms is in a sling, and he just starts grabbing medical equipment and goes to the nearest individual that needs medical aid.
Hey, maybe you should worry about yourself, buddy. You got it pretty bad.
Nah,
No one here is any. No
I'll
one
be
here is in
fine.
danger. Just rest.
I'll be fine. Trust me, I'll be fine.
And putting that aside for just a moment, we are likely going off planet sooner rather than later. I wanted to hold off on visiting Kiliad until I could return this armor, but given it might be our last chance for some time, I think we might want to make a pit stop in Kiliad before we leave. Give them that vehicle we took for them, let them know we can't hire a mechanic anymore, and give back this hunting rifle.
Yeah, I mean, we can't pay it all back, but we can try to do what we can.
If you guys go
At
to
the very
Kiliad,
least, the armor is
I'd-
more in better
like-
shape than when he gave it to you.
I'm going to give it back to him one day, but I don't have anything to replace it with right now.
Fair enough.
if you guys are going back to Kiliad, I'd like to come with you.
Well, obviously, I mean, I figured you'd want to at least say goodbye to a couple people too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's our most pressing issue right now.
So are you guys gonna take the rig and go back to Gilead?
The rig and the town car that we're giving to them.
Alrighty. You go ahead and climb aboard, set up your two crews, and speed on over to the town next door. Is anybody
Tom
staying
hits
behind in the
himself with
vault?
Tim Tom hit
Carl-
himself with a fucking shot of morphine, so that way his pain to,
Drugs.
Well,
Excellent.
yeah, well, not in an abusive way, more.
Yeah.
Head out to Kiliad with the others.
Alright.
Carl will stay.
Alright,
Yards
Carth
will stay as well.
Fair enough. So we got the two staying party, and then we got the rest of the crew, which is heading out. You guys climb aboard, start up the engine, try not to cough in the black smoke that's filling the cockpit, but anyway. Head on over. It doesn't take you that long to get there, especially with the new digs and the new vehicles, the buggy, and an actual sense of direction for once. Heading back to Kiliad is a fairly uneventful sort. You don't see any wolves or mist or vampires. And eventually you make it back to the township. I imagine parking the vehicle probably right smack dab in the middle of the small shanty village.
I don't
As
think
soon as
we.
we park, I want to go find Stu.
I imagine
go-
you and 447 both.
I'm gonna go with them, and I'm also going to I'm gonna take the town car to find Stu with, so I can present it to him directly.
Fair enough. You probably
I'll-
drive it along with Tim Tom
Yes.
up to his office and then stop and get out.
Yeah.
Wherever we leave the truck at, I've half a mind to stay with it, honestly.
Yeah. As 447 and I are driving. Look, I've lived here for a while. It doesn't feel right to keep secrets with this man. I hope you don't mind. But I want to let him know that we're not the cause of this trouble. And I want to give him a warning. So that maybe these people won't have to go through any heartache.
Well, I'm sure they've heard the news. I'm surprised we're even being allowed to walk freely. I figured part of this
Maybe
visit
not.
was going to be so you could clear names, or at least try.
Look, to be honest, communications in this village isn't exactly great. So, they might
Things
go, they might
changed for the better thanks to our visit. I wouldn't be surprised if they found some way to hear the news. If not from a traveler, then
not. Maybe. maybe not. But I feel an obligation to let Stu know. He's helped me out a lot. He's a good person. I believe he'll understand. And I want to let him know, just in case the war comes back to this planet. I don't. There's a lot of good people in this town. I don't want to see them get wrapped up in that violence again.
Not arguing.
What was that?
I'm not arguing. Also, Matt, can you please turn your gain up just a fucking hair bit?
Yeah. How's that?
Better. Way better.
Alright.
So you all proceed out of the car, having had your conversation, and walk into Stu's office. Again, no door, or rather a simple wooden one, which is, again, surprising considering the state of technology, but as soon as you cross through the border, the immediate thing you actually hear is Stu talking. He goes, "No, Ivan, was it? You know I can't wait that long. You've got to get that shipment here sooner rather than later. I got a whole town of hungry people to feed, and it's not exactly like we can farm around here." And you walk around the corner because there's a small L hallway before you actually make it to his office. And you do find that Stu is alone in this room and is currently talking with a computer that is built into the back wall, seemingly new. And as soon as he sees that there are people coming in, he's like turning on his heel and just going, "What now?" And he sees the both of you and just goes, "Oh, holy shit."
Tom kind of like puts his hand up, like, no. I don't want like in the gesture of, I don't want to be a nuisance to your conversation, please.
He simply puts one hand over the console and clicks a button, and you see the communication just drop out.
Like he hung up.
Yeah, like he hung up.
Hey Stu, how you doing?
Yeah, you guys have been busy.
Put it mildly.
Yeah.
Is it too much to ask what happened?
Tom kind of approaches and just a lot of bad things you might hear about us.
Yeah, no kidding. The sphere's gone crazy with chatter about you guys. Gotta say I'm partially concerned, but I don't think that you'd pull something like that off.
No, why? Stu, you've known me for what? How long now? And
Couple of years.
you think... You know I wouldn't do something like that.
I know, I'm just trying to get a bead. A lot of shit's been changing around here recently.
It was a wrong place, wrong time situation.
It's kind of what I figured.
We
All right.
were a convenient scapegoat, and our reputation is suffering because of it.
I mean, that makes sense.
That said, there's a very good chance we're heading off planet sooner rather than later. So we figured this will be our last chance for some time to stop by and make accounts settled.
Would you book a ship?
Let's just say we have an arrangement with Zacharias.
Oh, him? He's been, quiet recently. What have they been up to?
Well, recently they've been, it seems, refurbishing some things they found in an old vault belonging to their house.
I guess he hasn't...
Valdor.
Fair enough. I haven't seen him around ever since the incident, but guess it makes sense that he's been poking around in the dusty ruins. So, what brings the two of you here? Can't help but notice that my armor's changed a bit.
I wanted to get a new set, but the armorer I visited insisted that upgrading was the only course forward. So I'll have to hold on to it for a while longer. I'll return it to you as soon as I can find a replacement set. But
I'm not worried about that. I gave it to you with the express purpose of protecting your life. So, Just keep it. It's a relic from a past I'd rather not remember.
With your blessing, so be it. But there is something I do need to return. And with that, I unsling the hunting rifle and put it on the desk.
He puts a simple hand over it and goes ahead and unlocks a closet to his side and puts it inside. Suppose that'll be handy. What else
I
is
made
going
sure
on?
it has a full magazine, too.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna be
Outside
right
of
back.
that,
My Uber's
outside
on.
you'll find there is a civilian transport parked. The keys should be in the ignition, doors unlocked. It belongs to the town as far as I'm concerned. On our travels to the city, the capital, I'm not sure if you'll believe me, but the buggy we were borrowing that once belonged to Zessie was, turned into a pancake by a giant predatory bird.
He kind of squints his eyes and puts a hand down on his desk and just kind of like thinks for a second. A giant bird.
An owl, I think.
Yeah. Huge
You know,
bastard.
in any other situation, I would have called you crazy, but I've heard of some invasive species lately. More specifically, they were imports from House Mortis. After Baldor's fall, the birds got loose and started reproducing in an area where they thrived.
They're not very fond of passers-by. I'll say that much. But that said, when we were in the city, we were able to source a replacement vehicle, so hopefully we're square on that front. It belongs to you. Or the settlement, at least.
Kind of just gives you a square nod. Are you guys wanting to stay here, or what's going on?
Well, as I said, we figured we just... It's going to be some time before we are back. So we figured to pay you a visit and settle accounts. The hunting rifle's yours. That vehicle outside is also yours. It's unfortunate, but we were not able to find a replacement mechanic because of, well, our reputation as of late. But, seems fortunately, even without Zessie with you, you're making ends meet.
No, things have been good around here recently. More specifically, a new techie moved in. Been working wonders with a lot of the old shit around here.
That's good. Well,
And I mean, with our communication situation getting easier recently, with all the new networks opening up for refugees in wartime, we've actually been able to get a hold of quite a few of our old partners, you might say, and get a hold of some supplies.
partners, like who?
Well, we do have some towns, couple... God, I can't think of, more specifically, the DM can't think of how far towns should be from one another in this universe. Well, the point is, we've got a couple of towns that we used to have association with that are kind of opening up recently.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
In any case,
The district manager. Yes.
Yeah, the district manager, that's definitely what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
in any case, I believe I've returned everything I've meant to return.
Hey, now that you caught my attention, it's kind of lucky that you all swing by here.
Why is
He kind
that?
of like knocks on the desk a couple of times. You wouldn't have happened to make friends with a giant, like, fucking dragon man, would you?
Out of character? I'm not sure that's ringing any bells.
Move on.
Oh, wait, yeah, right. Yeah, the detective. That's one of his, colleagues.
Right, Ubon.
Alright, I'm back.
Yeah, he's been staying out in the periphery, just kind of hanging out and being a creep. If you wouldn't mind talking to him, he's been pestering us incessantly about, well, you all.
I'll pass the word along to the detective. He and I aren't exactly buddy-buddy.
I guess I can respect that. Well, anyway. Anything else?
I think that's all I wanted to take care of.
We're still in Gilead, right? We're still
We're,
talking to
we're
Stu?
still talking to Stu, yeah.
Okay, if 447 leaves, I'd like to stay back.
Yeah, I'll give Stu a nod and I'll reiterate, thanks for the armor. And I'll nod my head and take my leave.
What's going on, Tim?
Tom kind of like puts his hand in his like brow. Look, I don't want any of the violence that's about to come to this planet to come. But you guys need to prepare yourselves. We were at the wrong place at the wrong time. We got ourselves wrapped up into something. By the way, I'm doing this when 447 leaves.
Yeah, I'm gone. I'm gone.
We got ourselves wrapped up into something. I don't know what, but Stu, I'm scared as hell.
His eyes kind of widen for a second. I mean, you're welcome to stay and hide here.
Stu, if I do that, if they find out I'm here. Stu, do you know I'm wanted for treason?
Yeah. Like I said,
Do
you're
you understand
all over the
what'll
fucking
happen
spear.
if they come here and find me and find out if you and the rest of these townsfolk have been hiding me here, or better yet, the rest of my companions here?
It's not the first time we've broken the law for a good cause.
I understand that, Stu, but look, just prepare yourselves. I'm afraid a lot of violence is about to come your way. Violence I couldn't try to, I don't know, steer away from you, but
Well, we got a plan in the making. We've got some supplies coming. We've got some safe locations that we're gonna run away to and hide for a couple of months. Let this shit all blow over.
Please do. Look, thank you, Stu.
Kind of gives you just another nod, and you can tell that there's an awkwardness in the conversation that's making him hesitant to add anything else.
This might be the last time you see me for a while.
I'm sure we'll meet up again.
I hope so. I really do. I've grown fond of this town.
Well, when you come back next, maybe we can drop by the Baron, get a few drinks.
I'd like that.
If you don't mind, I have to discuss something with this Ivan fucker.
Stay safe, Stu.
And he turns over and presses another button, and you hear the sounds of a dialing conversation saying, Yeah, I know I cut you off. I don't give a shit. And you leave.
Okay.
As I said, I'm leaving the town the town sedan behind. The doors are unlocked, the key's in the ignition, so it's officially turned over to Gilead as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough.
I'm heading back to the rig, and once everyone is gathered up, I'll drive us back to the vault.
Alrighty. You
Not
go
gonna.
ahead and
Never mind. You do know I wasn't there when you talked to Stu, right?
Oh, yeah, but fucking I also
Oron.
wasn't... Oron?
Uvon.
Vaughn.
Move on.
Okay,
I mean,
but fucking... I wasn't the only one who went to Gilead. I'm waiting for those who came with me to fucking get back in the buggy.
Yeah.
I get back in the buggy.
Yeah, we're
Alright.
getting in.
Or the fucking rig.
Yeah, you all get sorted in the rig and just kind of settle down, getting ready for your journey back to the vault.
Yes. So once everyone's aboard, we drive back to the vault, and once we're there, I'll can we park the rig inside, or does it have to?
You can park the rig inside.
Yeah, we'll do that.
It was good to get some air.
And I guess I'm gonna go find I'm gonna go find the detective.
Ankos came with you.
I went to
He
town.
literally just said he didn't.
I said I stayed with the truck in town because I didn't want to leave it unattended. Because I'm
Right.
pretty sure the thing doesn't have a lock on it.
Yeah, that's specifically what he said.
Okay, then I'm gonna basically just relay what Stu said. Your buddy's Uvon. He's been apparently prowling around outside of Gilead. Stu wants it to stop.
Seriously, Uvon picked this old place as a getaway spot.
Apparently.
Did he give any fine details where to find him? I should probably go talk to him if he's in the area.
None specifically, but if he's in the area, he should be within comm range.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Apparently, he's been prowling around asking about us, generally disturbing the locals. They don't like it and they want it to stop.
Yeah, he does a real bad job of dialing down the whole intimidation factor, but I'll get a hold of him and tell him that we're doing fine so he stops bugging these people, give him the update that we're getting off planet, because he's probably going to want to know that. Hell, he might want to come with us.
He's your friend, you've gotta.
Yeah, and I'm gonna... If are you telling me this back at the vault or on the way back?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, well...
I assume we're already back.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I would like to, actually, go looking for him. So I'd have to take the rig out and go back to Gilead.
Fair enough. You head back to town.
Before I leave, how am I doing on gas on the truck?
I would like to say,
it's doing fine.
didn't we have a discussion where we said basically no one goes alone anymore? So I thought that was a conversation we had at some
We did,
point.
yeah.
Do you
I think
do
I
you go
pulled up.
alone?
Well, I will ask if anyone wants to come with me, but I will
Yeah.
be doing it myself.
Yeah,
Keep
I mean, I
watch
can come
for
with
you. Yeah.
Or
I'll go along.
Alright. So, we're gonna hop in the truck, me, myself, or me 447, Matt and Sam again? Same crew?
Yeah.
Okay. And once we get, into Gilead, I'm gonna raise my comms and see if I can see if his contact is online.
Oh yeah, he is.
Why am
Are
I
you
fucking
gonna-
muted? Yeah, sorry. Once that I see he's online, I'm going to give him a call.
So it takes a couple of seconds, almost as if somebody were in the midst of doing something else before the call is picked up. The first thing that you hear is, "Where are you?"
Well, I mean, close. Gilead. What are you doing all the way out here?
That's not important. Here's a Boogle pin. And he closes the call.
Well, shit, I was gonna suggest we at least go to the tavern to meet up, but shit, I'll go to the pen. And how far away is it?
It's not that far. Like the town leader was saying, he is staying out in the periphery in a bunch of shacks that aren't seeing use. You drive out there and eventually find the building that he is hiding away in, and you can tell it's worn down. The wood that is used to construct it is beginning to sag and gray. But the door itself, which is just kind of like almost hanging from its position, has a small crack in it, and from it you can see the large bulk that is Uvon hiding behind the door, peeking out.
Man,
is
peek
Uvon
at you
like
from the
Tim Tom
distance.
size, or is Uvon like bigger or smaller?
Uvon's a big motherfucker.
Uvon's almost as big as you, Tim Tom.
Okay.
Alright, I'm
Almost.
seeing him
Almost.
eyeballing us. I'm just gonna kind of like look around to see if we're being watched, because he's almost acting like he's being watched. And upon most like seeing, well, I mean, if you want me to roll
It's
something,
nothing but the town around you, but you can roll a perception check.
yeah, just for shits and giggles. I know it's probably superfluous.
You spot a UFO. Just kidding.
Damn. Well, anyway, I shrug and then go to the door and knock on it, I suppose, probably
So
looking at him
is-
through the crack as I do so.
As soon as you get close enough, the door shoots open and a large hand grabs and pulls you inside.
Take the soup on!
It is not hostile or painful, but he kind of basically has you positioned against the frame and then kind of gets real close and just goes, "What exactly did you get wrapped up into?"
You're being real weird, and I've already told you. What do you mean? Like, you're talking about with the AI? Our little firefight at the vault?
I'm talking about the shit that went down at the terraformer.
I mean, oh, right. I don't think we've actually had a moment to talk about this. Well, we have talked about it, but
And you've told me a little bit, but
we got ambushed by somebody that decided to sabotage it. It was, I don't know who the hell she was, but one of my squad mates does, 447. Apparently he knew her. She seems to have fairly high-level psionic abilities. She literally brainwashed myself and the mechanic into thinking the reactor was melting down when it wasn't, and we kind of fucked it up a little bit.
what did you say the defining features of this person were?
I don't really remember all that well. I got a glancing look at her, but what? No, she talked to us. Was she wearing her helmet at the time?
You told me that she had white hair and blue snake eyes.
I out of character, I straight up forgot what the character description for her was, other than that she was 447's squad mate. But if that's what she looked like, then that's
So
not
the
what
idea is
described.
that she was generally larger than the average person. Definitely built, but not badly so. White hair kind of shaved off on one end. Blue slitted snake eyes. It was
Okay.
very unnerving in terms of an appearance,
Well,
but
I mean, I'll give him
definitely a hard face to forget.
Yeah, I'll give him the most detailed account that I can.
He seems to take in this information. You can see his eyes darting from one place to another as if he were deep in thoughts, and then just kind of lets go of your arm and starts pacing.
Why do I have a feeling that you know who this person is, or at least have you an idea of it?
I don't know specifically what it is, but I do have some information that I need more time to brew.
Right, well... What's your leading theory right now, at the very least?
He just kind of shakes his head and... I need more time. Where the fuck are you going? Where are you going next?
Hopefully, off-planet. And I'm gonna extend you the invitation if you'd like to join us.
Yeah, I'm coming with.
Yeah, good. It'd be suicidal to stay here anyways, especially after you've made the horrible mistake of associating with me.
The shit you've gotten yourself wrapped into.
Hey, I didn't intend to do it. It just kinda happened. As if that makes it any better, which it doesn't. But the noble that presides over these lands, Zacharias, he was somebody that we got pretty well acquainted with when we first got here. And long story short, we just saved his skin, so he's going to allow us passage on a ship off planet.
The fact that you're here in the first place is a stroke of luck. I chose this based on the idea that you had to return at some point to give back the shit that you owed him.
Smart. I mean, I guess it's not a fate meeting then. You're actually thinking about this. Which, of course you would. But if you unless you want to finish your lease on this grand old manor here, we've got a truck outside. You should come.
As soon as you finish saying that, he's already making his way towards the exit, bumps into the door and just generally knocks it loose, like tearing it off of the frame, and just goes, "Nah, fuck it, let's go."
Tom is like half a second away from knocking, just in general concern of seeing his friend get pulled in. He's like in the position to knock as the door gets ripped off
Giant
its hinges.
lizard man just punches through, basically.
I'm standing behind Tim Tom, like semi-crouched with my weapon pulled, like I'm ready to breach and enter if necessary.
So I imagine that there is a half second where after bursting through the door and seeing that the soldier is on guard, you both exchange glances and come to the mutual conclusion that both of you are very much ready to just spring into combat before he breaks the tension and continues walking towards your rig.
Hey, Mr. Ankos?
As I walk out, maybe probably a little bit ways after him because I can't match his fucking stride. I'm just gonna say he's coming with us now.
Is that guy your friend?
Yes, one of my closest associates.
Ah.
I've known him back from my days as a detective. Actually, you should have You were
I
there
never.
when
I don't
met
think I ever
him.
met. I don't think I ever met him.
You
Yes, you have. We've met him before, at least on a few occasions.
I have.
Yes.
yeah.
We had dinner with him at least
I
once.
honestly completely forgot.
I just didn't like the way he yanked you in.
Yeah, he's a bit frazzled, to say the least. He's been trying to work on figuring out the identity of your former associate that put us all in this.
He knows something about 202.
He thinks he might have a theory that he's still working. I wouldn't bug him about it yet. He's the type that doesn't like to throw around half-baked ideas.
Fine.
When he's got a concrete answer, I'll ask him for it, and if he doesn't want to tell you, I'll tell you. You deserve to know more than anybody here what the hell she's been up to.
If you say not to bother him, I won't. But the moment he says something about her, I want to know.
That'll be too easy.
And with that, I'm going to start walking back towards the rig.
So at this point, almost even without asking, he has clambered onto the side and is currently like stuffing himself into one of the portholes on the rig's passenger compartment, kind of hanging onto the side and making a space for him that no one really gave him permission aside from Ankos.
Well, Anko said he was coming, so I'm not going to make any bones about it. I'm going to hop in the driver's seat and turn the ignition.
Tim Tom gives him some like recommendations, like, "Hey, you know, if you sit over there, you're gonna be a lot more comfortable, right?"
He is dead silent and not talking to anybody. He is sitting in the far corner, just kind of brooding by himself and kind of... It's strange to say for someone so large and intimidating, but almost hiding within the confines of his own greatcoat.
Okay. I imagine if we're driving back, Tim Tom is desperately attempting to make small talk with this man. It's like, so beautiful weather we're having today.
Yeah.
I'll just sit opposite of Uvan and just kind of sit there and brood in silence with him. If he doesn't want to talk, I'll force it out of him.
Whisper, like, crotches down to fucking Ankos. Your friend doesn't really like to talk, does he?
He's got a lot on his mind. I wouldn't disturb him if I were you.
Okay. He's not gonna get violent if I ask him questions, though, is he?
He'll get probably a little annoyed. Violent, no. He's not an animal.
He just kind of looks up, almost as if breaking from another pattern of thought. Looks directly at you. He just looks at you. It's fine.
Oh. Oh gosh, he speaks.
Yeah, he does speak.
Why wouldn't he speak?
It's fine. Let's
It's
just
part
get
of
back
his
to the damn
job,
thing.
and like his way he lives.
Tim Tom sits in awkward silence
So,
as we fucking
I'm
make
in
our
the
way
driver's
back.
cab, I assume, isolated from everyone else. I don't think there's a
Yeah.
way to communicate with anyone back there. So, while I'm driving alone up front, is there like a radio built in?
I imagine there's probably a radio in this truck.
Okay, I'm gonna scan the stations to see what I can hear.
So the first one that is very apparent is a, like, very intense, loud polka music. The second one is a bunch of Spanish people talking with each other. The third one, you're not even sure how to describe it. It's like... It almost sounds like a kid's channel. Like something that was built specifically with kids in mind, but it's mixed with, like, blaring, obnoxious techno music.
A note to myself, how bizarre it is that there is a kids' radio station in basically what amounts to a fucking cutthroat Badlands area of the world. Anything else important on the scanner? Potentially like chatter between mercenaries who might be staging an ambush, or nothing crazy?
Can you give me a skill check?
What kind of skill check?
I would say probably computers, but you can make a perception just to broadly scan through.
Yeah, we'll do perception for a broad scan of what's on the radio.
You check through, and aside from actually catching a good one every now and then, there's no, like, classified military chatter on a truck's radio.
I figure not. But what do you mean by a good one? You mean something just comprehensible?
Yeah, something that's like suiting for the atmosphere, but not necessarily something that you're into, being that you're a super soldier.
Right. Well, I'm not even necessarily looking for music per se.
Fucking country roads.
I want to
like
hear if there's
Rainbow
anyone
playing.
talking over like the open frequency that I can make heads or tails of.
Yeah, I imagine that eventually you do catch somebody talking about just the general state of the world at large, like a couple of dudes that are just kind of chatting.
Like talk radio news kind of thing.
Basically, yeah.
I'll leave that on. I want to know more about the general situation of, I guess,
He's
sector
tuned
politics
into
in
Glenn
general,
Beck
since this is
Radio.
what I'm having to put up with now.
Fucking 447's tuned into Glenn
I'm
Beck
listening to
Radio.
Glenn Beck, yes.
Christ. So, yeah, they mostly talk about the impending war that's going to happen here on Zavoth 3 and a lot of the ways that the war could turn. I mean, for instance, in the last war, Beldor had no support, hence why they were basically cut off and destroyed. But as far as they speculate, the Draconis Dominion has access to a veritable wealth of resources that are on par with the Syndicate. So this next conflict is going to be much more bloody and less one-sided than the previous.
Much more bloody, and it seems much more senseless, because as I recall, it didn't seem like Tiberius even had his heart in this.
They're not discussing the motives of the king at present. Definitely,
This is just my own private speculation that
yeah,
I'm thinking.
private speculation. Other than that, they do talk about increase in piracy along the eastern fringe, next to the Grand Nebula that separates it from Drow territory. As well as mutterings of increased hollowed activity, but that's just general nonsense.
So banditry near the near Drow territory. I assume that's something God, it's been so long. Sal would have been interested in if he were still here.
Probably.
You just
But yeah,
disappeared.
I guess I just kind of mull it over in my own head about the senseless nature of this conflict that's about to take so many lives, and keep driving.
Fair enough. So eventually you make it back to the vaults. Everybody disgorges and gets back to their accustomed positions. Uvon finds a place to hide himself in. That being said, anything else to do for today?
Well, I think that's about everything I wanted to do.
Yarich is going to start is working on
Actually,
this project.
Don't you love
Yeah.
being the people that set in motion like galaxy-changing events?
If no one else has anything to do, I would like to speak with Vaku.
Fair enough.
I
But just
Oh,
just to
yes.
give Tyler a bit of time in the light, because
Yes.
he hasn't gotten to do much.
Right.
Yeah, you sit down and start marking out new plans for a project. What do you have in mind?
A nice sand tub.
So,
A
go
what?
ahead and give me an engineering roll.
I'm sorry, a fucking what?
Sand tub.
A sand
Sand
tub.
Yeah,
Hey
sand
guys,
tub.
Sand Tub Man the Epic here.
Come on.
So a 28. So as you guys have all been, like, basically immersing yourself in the outside world and events and people and strange goings-on, Yarich has set himself down in a room, gotten a bunch of shit for his computer and holographic displays, and is currently putting together blueprints for a vessel that fills a tub of sand with air to make it into a liquid form. He's just got the plan settled, but it looks like he's just kind of daydreaming for the moment. And I mean, planning's good, it's not that hard to build. That being said, though, as you are busy scribbling and drawing away, 447, you wanted to have a conversation with Vaku?
Yes. So I'm gonna find Vaku, and I'm just gonna say, hey, I noticed
Yeah.
back there in that fight, you didn't seem like you knew quite what you were doing with that rifle of yours.
Yeah, I wanted some energy-based weapons, but I don't know. Just
So it's
It
safe
just
to
didn't
say
work
you don't
out.
have any kind of proper sniper rifle training.
nah.
What about long arms? Standard issue kind of rifle weapons.
Probably. Let me think. Wait, do I? Is that something I can actually do?
This would be something you check on your sheet.
Where is it?
You would open up your sheet, go over to features, and you'd look at your weapon specialization and see if it tells you Like what
You are
kind of?
proficient in basic and advanced melee weapons, grenades, and small arms. That's it.
So I can't use rifles, or can I use
Well,
rifles?
you can, but you just wouldn't be any good with them,
You
really.
wouldn't have any proficiency, yeah.
It wouldn't be any better than your sniper rifle, so that basically strikes my idea out of the water.
Never really handled them as a life as a traveler. It's just been up to the might of your stick and your pistol.
Damn.
Well, I was going to suggest we trade weapons because I do happen to know my way around a sniper rifle, but if you aren't anybody with a long arm, then that's not going to be feasible. So, let me ask this. Is it possible that I can train with him to, like, maybe give him proficiency, or is that something he's going to have to pick up later?
I would say that you could start training him, and then you guys are at 3rd level, right?
Yeah.
At 5th level, he could pick up sniper proficiency.
If you want to know how to use that thing better, I can teach you a few tricks.
Alright.
See if they have a shooting range here, and we'll get to work.
So,
Before we wrap everything up, I should probably go talk to Zacharias and tell him that we've got an extra.
yeah, no. Eventually, you do find said noble currently shuffling through mounds and mounds of paperwork. It looks like he is kind of stressed out, and in the same vein that you first discovered him, you almost have a sense of nostalgia, although the events have changed. The first time you found Zacharias, he was at his work desk in his estate, glasses pushed up to the rim of his nose, just kind of very stressed. And you've seen that same stress marked in the noble that is currently sitting on a cold steel bench, sorting through organizational material.
Okay. Well,
That being said, you found him.
alright, well, then I will go ahead and approach him and say, hey, hate to come up to you with, bearing more inconveniences, but I've picked up an old friend recently, and he kind of needs a way off planet, too. We got space for another on the ship?
We have more than enough space and food to provide for a couple more parties such as yourself. It should be fine.
Alright, good. I just didn't want to start dragging people along without your knowledge. He's an old detective buddy of mine.
I do appreciate that.
It's no problem. You doing okay? Need anything from us?
Goodness. Maybe once we're off planet, we can discuss how we can both help each other.
Fair enough.
It should be ready by tomorrow, so I hope you all are ready.
Yeah, we'll be packing up all of our things tonight and getting out of here. We're good to go.
Good. He goes ahead and goes back to his work.
Head nod and I walk out the door.
Ankos,
Yeah, what's up?
I just have to ask. Once you get off planets, what are your goals?
Honestly, the goal right now is just getting off planet. But I'm sure it won't take long to think of something.
Yarch did talk about finding his mentor.
That is true. That is something we said we were interested in doing because we need as many allies as we can get, and his mentor might know some things about the terraformers.
Okay. Well,
And at some point, I'll get on the fucking, arena arc.
I'll
Right now, the objective we all agreed on is we're going to try to find Eureka's mentor because we
Okay.
need
Yeah.
allies.
I'll say, well, in that case, actually, I did think of something. An associate of mine, a friend here. Somebody who, might know something about her predicament. It's probably nothing. But
Are you just gonna leave me sitting in the dark? What's going on?
the bug, the mechanic, that
Yeah.
one. He's got an old mentor, a sensei of some kind, who's like him, some type of master class technician, and they're gonna spitball some ideas about the terraformer, trying to figure out what happened or why. At this point, it's also just a matter of finding friends.
Fair enough. I imagine that once you get on your feet again, you should be able to make all sorts of friends.
I hope so, because I'm sure as shit tired of making enemies.
Fair enough. All right then.
Alright, I'll nod my head and leave.
So, you go ahead, get all situated. The rest of the night plays out as usual.
So, is there actually like a shooting range here in this vault, or are we gonna have to go
You
outside?
have to go outside and form a makeshift one.
That's fine. So, is this something we're going to have to do like every session or every day?
No, no, it's just something for fluff.
Okay, fair enough. Because I figured if this was actually if this had actual mechanics involved, then I do have professional soldier. But otherwise,
Yeah, you go outside and begin just kind of like setting up a minuscule range. You go out, you take the bucket that you found from the broom closet, you get some minor paints and draw a simple dot to try and mark general accuracy.
Just for my own amusement, in addition to the target, I'm gonna draw like a hallowed court symbol on the bucket.
Oh, Christ. So, yeah, I imagine that of the symbols that you have seen of the Hallowed Court, the most prominent one would be the Pale King sigil. So I imagine that you draw that. And conveniently, there is a, like, dot in the center of his sigil that is perfect for target practice.
I chuckle to myself as I pencil that dot in.
Ah,
So you
perfect.
go ahead and set that down, get to a reasonable distance, and start teaching him how to like adjust his scope and how to actually properly hold the rifle and how to steady your aim. And
Hold your breath, otherwise the scope's gonna shake around. Exhale when you release the trigger, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the Call of Duty thing.
Yeah, exactly.
How to press shift to steady your scope and hold your breath. So you go about doing that, and the rest of the night
Fast
passes
novice sniper.
eventfully. The next day, everybody seems to be in a general hubbub. The small core team of engineers that are overseeing the retrofit are packing up their stuff, taking the stuff that is actually like useful material to have as spare parts and organizing them within the cargo clusters of this rather large dropship.
At this point,
Hmm.
Yarich will go through the parts they're leaving behind and see if any would fit for his project.
Oh god, so you start sifting through all of their stuff and you do find ample material that could construct like a basic frame for the tub, although you'd still need a liner and hoses.
That's alright. This is a beginning project.
So yeah, no, you scramble through and I imagine having to fight with these technicians who are just like putting their hands on something and picking up and sifting through piles. And then every once in a while, a little stick-thin, sharpened, spiky arm comes out and just grabs a piece and retreats back into the darkness. So, packing up both the security teams and the mechanic teams. Eventually, Zacharias himself makes an appearance emerging out from the inner confines of the vault. Just kind of standing in front of the drop loading bay, overseeing and making sure that the people that he has hired and are currently tied to him are actually boarding. And it seems like he is waiting for the party to make a stand and enter the ship.
We're gonna have to load our rig on board.
So you go ahead, get a hold of the rig, drive it on board. That being said, it has to share space with one of the small vehicles that the security team shares space with. So it's kind of like a bit of a clustered mess in the hangar bay. Two vehicles just kind of pressed together. But you get it aboard, and the rest of you start making your way one by one boarding the ramps.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like, the evidence of us getting ready
Yarich is
for...
dragging pillow bags on board.
So, the evidence of us getting ready to board this craft and leave is probably like within a couple days, right?
Yeah, I imagine that you guys have basically spent maybe, 3 days total here?
Okay.
Also, I have a question. So with the proficiency for like rifles, does that include regular rifles or rifles?
Snipers and long
Yeah,
arms.
long arm proficiency and sniper proficiency are two different things.
Oh fuck.
So right now, I'm training you to use sniper rifles. So you have a sniper rifle.
So
It's gonna be annoying.
I imagine like the morning before we leave, Tim Tom's just gonna walk outside for a little bit with his backpack, and he's going to pull. He's going to pull out a small metal box
Warwick amulet.
Open it up.
Oh god.
Review a few things. Some old pictures. Some paperwork. Such and such. And then he's going to find a nice little quiet hill, dig a small hole, and bury it.
So, as you finish burying it, presumably with a shovel that you stole from the vault, sealing over the dirt in this little small crested hill that you've decided is the perfect place to leave some memories behind, you look up because you swear you caught sight of, like lightning, but with no sound. And you do see that in the far distance above a thin cloud layer, there appears to be a space battle taking place. Very hard to make out, but you do see flares of light. Signs that there are large weapons being used in a very distant place.
It's starting.
Tim Tom's seeing that.
It's only a couple of flickers, but eventually...
Wind has
Tim
become.
Tom's seeing that, drops the shovel, and then immediately begins to bolt. Like, he just begins to run back in.
Yeah, eventually you make it back to the vault, and you are among us one of the few people that are boarding the ship last, along with one of the lazy engineers.
Tim Tom wants to find some people, like Zacharias.
I imagine that he is currently frustrated waiting for the last person to get on, and you approach him, just kind of barrel rolling through another one of the lazy engineers and make your way up to Zacharias, who raises an eyebrow at your sudden violent appearance.
Battle's begun in orbit.
I mean, you do realize that a war's going on, right?
Yes, I fully understand that. But they're here, and
I understand. This was a part of the plan.
how?
When you are making preparations to flee a war-ravaged planet, do you not make plans in the case of eventualities coming to place, such as a war in a war zone? Get on the ship, please.
I imagine Tim Tom's already on the ship by this point.
Yeah, you're standing on the boarding ramp, and he just kind of makes a shooing symbol and grabs a hold of the lazy engineer by, like, his shoulder and pulls him on board. So you will get
Where
on.
are we in relation to this?
So
Yarich
right
is,
now,
Yarich is in his own little corner.
Well, yeah, but I just wonder where the party is in relation to the
I-
boarding ramp that Tim Tom is.
I imagine that you all are waiting by the war rig, just kind of like waiting for an introduction as to where you can stay.
Okay, fair enough.
So that being said, as Tim Tom is brought up, the door begins to grind to a close, and it is a very large door, so it takes quite a while for it to firmly seal shut. And with that, the last semblances of light from the vault disappear, and the flickering lumens from the lights within this dropship come to life. They almost seem to stutter for a second before Zacharias makes a small stand. He starts to give a small speech. Most of it is not worth noting, aside from what he references to you all, and that you all will be introduced to your quarters, shown the spaces that you can occupy during our transit time. I'll also show you the areas that I prefer you not to bother while the ship is in operation. And as he kind of dismisses groups of teams, telling the security team, basically the kind of general plan that he has for them and the maintenance crew, what they need to get on to actually get this into motion. He eventually turns to you all, being the last people in his little briefing, and just kind of makes a motioning symbol for you to follow.
I'll follow along.
Yeah, call the follow.
So you walk up
Tim
instead
Tom's
of...
going to whisper to 447. Are we making the right choice here?
Would you rather stay behind? Don't tell me you're gonna get space sick, Doctor.
Tim Tom gives like this sad smile.
Look, we've made our choice, and there's no turning back now.
I think the choice was made for us, rather.
I have to agree with Yarich. He didn't make that choice.
We could have stayed behind, but we didn't. I think we're in the best position we can be given our situation. Now is not the time for doubts.
I'm not gonna let this place burn and die.
There's more than just this world that's on the line, Doctor.
You're not really in a position to do anything about it, to be entirely honest.
There's going to be a lot of people dying in the coming years who don't deserve it, for no good reason.
Timtom's face contorts in a very angry but sad manner.
A wounded manner, yeah.
One thing I have been thinking about is while I've been playing my little special project, I have thought of something. What? 44. Yar's just going to look up to 447 and ask, what exactly would it take to make this planet like your old one?
What do you mean?
A new, however you said your planet's name.
Are you suggesting we terraform this
No.
Zaboth?
I'm suggesting
I'm not
that
following.
202 is trying to recreate the old empire and make this the head.
But why would she need to turn on any terraforming devices for that? I'd be fully willing to believe she's trying to clear the playing board of other factions, but...
I'm thinking she wants to make it exactly like your old planet.
Yarich.
Wants to terraform
That's a
planets
little
of
beyond
Concordia.
reach.
Yarich.
Zavoth still supports life, thanks in large part to those terraformers, and Concordia did as well.
Not to mention Concordia was a multi-planet empire.
Well, yeah, but there was, to the best of my knowledge of the lore, there was the seat of Concordia that was just Concordia.
There was the
That was a planet.
There was the seat of Concordia, but like they never really had an attachment to the ecosystem of their planet.
Yeah, that's kind of the point I'm working towards here. Like, there was a planet Concordia that was called Concordia, but, like, it supported life, and so did Zavoth. I wouldn't really see the utility in
You're
recreating-
right in your assumption that this seems a bit strange.
Yeah, look, I'm just gonna level with Yarich. I don't see any utility in recreating Concordia's ecosystem down to the last shred of grass whenever Zavoth very clearly already supports life. Politically, if she wanted to kickstart this war to clear the playing board for something like that, I'd believe it. But I don't see any utility in making Zavoth the seat of some new empire.
Yeah, we are out of the way. I'm not very good on political stuff, so that's kind of... I'm more physical and, I guess,
Look,
computers.
I'm also not exactly an expert on sector politics, especially after a good 1.5k years have passed, but I've been trying to learn, since it's the environment I find myself in now. I don't have enough information to say what she's doing. I knew her well enough when we were together, but now that so much time has passed and she's been able to
Rome
have a foothold and get herself immersed in what's been going on. I can't say how she's changed, and I can't say how the sector's changed. I will say, even with everything she has been doing, it's quite out of character for the 202 I fought with. We were all loyal to the cause, and to see her doing this for what she said was fun doesn't add up. That's all I know.
So, you all are introduced to a general area. This specific spot seems to have a lot of just kind of like living accommodations. There are counters for food making, definitely like refrigeration units. You're basically being introduced to the living quarters. It is tight because this is technically a military grade vessel.
right?
That being said, though, there's more than enough space to kind of occupy the living for, well, pretty much the entirety of the crew.
So,
I assume the entire party's sharing a room.
So, in terms of actual space, there is a small section to the rear of the ship behind the living quarters that is specifically made to have basically a sacrifice of space and privacy, where two people are put into a room in a sort of a bunk, and they're basically given an almost self-contained pod where they have a small living space that is stacked on top of each other, and then a small little private area, with a desk and simple things that kind of fold out from the wall. The idea is that you'll be bunking by two people for each pod, so you have to sort that out amongst yourselves.
So we each get a roommate.
cool.
Yari just gonna think, and
Oh
he's
my
going to
God,
quickly
the
come to
roommates.
conclusion there's going to be no space for his tub yet.
Yeah.
Tub!
The
You're
tub.
concerned about your fucking tub.
In fact,
Sand
if we're talking about like cleanliness and hygiene, the capacity to wash oneself in this place is a simple scrubbing unit, which uses sonic waves to essentially chip off dirt and leave skin chafed and red.
So using the power of the bass drop, it blasts all of the fucking filth off of your body.
This reminds me of the electric shower concept from like the 1930s, where you would basically step on a plate and get electrocuted, and it would cause all the dust to fly off of you.
Nice.
You have your very own Brazilian death shower.
Nice.
Violent muscle spasms would be a
Yari
really great
just-
way to throw dust off.
Yari just going.
Tom is literally just going to pick a fucking room, open the door, and just go in.
So you all witness Tim Tom squeeze into the pod and immediately realize whoever is bunking with him is going to have a rough time.
I'm gonna hold my hands up and say, you're the smallest. I'm sorry. You have to go with him.
Yeah, it's not gonna work with anyone else.
Your age, look, bro, you're tiny.
There's not a whole hell of a lot of room in there with him. You're the only one who could ever hope to occupy it.
Yari holds up a clawed thumb.
Alright.
So I imagine that you like worm your way in, and you just get the image of a large Tim Tom in the back of this pod, and a small Yarreach at the forefront of this pod when the door closes. And you
I
both are
imagine-
basically just kind of like sitting there, pressed for space.
It's probably not horrifically comfortable in there, but it's a hell of a lot better than cramming any of us.
Yarich, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Just so you know, I have insomnia. I have a tendency of snoring rather loudly.
The best roommate.
Yari shrugs and I can deal with it.
Also,
as long as you can deal with my long nights of tinkering.
Well, yeah, I can work with that. Another thing I need to let you know, sometimes I suffer from night terrors.
Yari just done.
Sometimes you just be playing around going like.
It's why I keep locks in my firearms before I go to sleep.
So here's the question. You both kind of deciding how you're going to be sharing this space. Look at the bunks, and you realize, like, Timothy, there is not much space for you in your own bed.
Oh no. Tim Tom like tries to shimmy himself in. Ow.
I'm guessing you're taking the bottom bunk.
Of course.
So you have one leg.
Can I do a roll to
one-
see if Timothy gets stuck?
No, actually, yeah, that'd be fucking hilarious. So, give me a dexterity check.
Yeah! Yeah!
A 3! So I imagine that, Timothy tries to squeeze all of himself into this small slot. He manages to get about halfway in, pull his legs and arms into the spot with him, and then stops moving. And you are turned to face the wall on the inside of the bunk.
Ow. Hey, Yarich,
You're stuck, aren't you?
please don't be alarmed, but I appear to be stuck.
So with that, we go to the next chamber as another empty set of bunks are present.
Okay, I'll go ahead and climb into the next one. I'm not gonna make any bones about who's with me.
Yeah, Carthel just throw his kind of knapsack into the bottom bunk for later.
Cool.
Fine by me. Having this roommate means I have no incentive to talk very much.
Got that situated. Next bunk.
I'll take the third room. I think it's literally just me and Aku left, so
Yep.
unless you want to go sleep in a nest somewhere, I guess you're coming in here.
We don't really do nesting. We just have regular beds.
It was a joke, Bird Brain.
Oh.
Actually, no, wait. I'm gonna go ask Uvon where he's staying.
So I imagine as you go ahead and pull Uvon over, who is just kind of walking around in a corner by himself, he kind of breaks his concentration and turns over to look at you. And there's something that almost sends a chill down your spine. There's a certain intensity that he stares at you. Like the draconic slits that are his pupils tighten, and he almost looks like he's on the verge of, like, springing into action. But as soon as you move in to talk to him, he kind of slackens his pose.
Big guy. Ooh.
Well, hey, let's go find a place to bunk down.
Alright. So you both go ahead. Take one of these bunks, the next one. I imagine as he pushes past Vaku, it's almost like he doesn't see him and almost accidentally shoves him aside. He just kind of turns over and looks down at the bird and crosses his arms. What?
Did I do something to upset you?
No. And he walks into the bunk and takes the bottom one.
As he sets his stuff down, I'm gonna kind of just lean up against the wall on the side of the room and go, You've got something on mind. What?
Later.
I guess Faku gets a room to himself.
Nice.
Like, unless Sal comes back.
Vaku, I imagine that the next bunk that is presented to you is actually vacant of another occupant, meaning that you get double the space of an average person.
Like, unless Sal comes back, in which case,
Then you
have
have
fun
to
with
share. Yeah, then you get the worst person.
Then
to
you
bunk
get
with.
the absolute worst roommate.
The person
You
who
wait.
like, sets up incense and fucking has a midnight choreography, fucking noble shit. Like dance practice.
You wake up and Darian is in the top bunk.
Oh
staring at you.
god.
It's like, hi.
Dun, 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 dun,
I'm gonna
dun,
hear
dun.
Okay.
roaring and fucking hammer impacts out of the first room. Nothing out of the second room. Fucking Mozart in the third one with Vaku screaming, "Please stop!" And then just angry Uvon noises.
You're gonna hear fucking a mixture of Mozart and like painful squawking.
Can I help?
So, you all get situated, and eventually getting your stuff settled down, figuring out that this is going to be your home for a while, you all come out and make your way into the living space. But about that time, you do hear a crack over the intercom that's basically displaying that the ship is in preparatory stages for a takeoff. So secure your belongings, make sure that nothing's going to slide off and break, because the exit from this planet is going to be a rough one.
I don't have any personal belongings that I can't just keep on my person.
Hello. Yarich!
Is there anywhere particular we have to be seated for the launch, or?
No, you just have to make absolutely certain that you are braced for such an event.
All right. Well,
Don't
in that
leave
case,
me!
if there's some kind of seating inside of my unit, I'm gonna go ahead and just hunker down.
Hello?
Hunkering down.
Yeah.
So, the fun fact about your capsule pods, the desks that are built into the opposite side of the room, the best way to describe this is a rectangle that is displayed, like, lengthwise. You pretty much got a small pod of space, and the desk on the end is built into the ship itself, and there is a arm extension with a swiveling chair that has a back on it built into the desk that you can pull out.
See,
So there's no roll around. It is like this stuff is built into the frame of the ship to prevent anything from rolling or breaking.
that
It's not
seems like a
super comfortable, but it is. It provides support and is honestly kind of surprising. It's a nice little spot.
seems like a safe enough place to be sitting when a ship takes off.
Hey, Levi, I have a question.
What's up?
Can I do a cursory look at this bottom bunk to see if there's a way to adjust this bunk space that Tim Tom is so that way he's just not stuck?
So you give a general look, and you do realize that this is built for humans. There's no magic make it bigger function. But eventually I imagine that you figure out with some help from Yarich having to pull you from your stuck position to the point where you can actually move again.
I'm imagining a scenario where Yarich is just standing on his back, jumping on him.
Basically.
I imagine there's just a
Yarich would probably be using more like
crowbar.
Yeah, he's pretty much got a
Crowbar.
crowbar that he's wedged into the top of the bunk, because keep in mind, it's just like a pod of space. There's a top, and then there's another bunk on top of that. No
I'm
space to jump, but
I'm just very proud that I didn't hear a step anything during any of that.
one crowbar later, you're the one that brought that up. Fucking Timothy, you managed to eventually funk free. And eventually, through some trial and experimentation, you realize that you could have one arm and one leg hanging off, and your head kind of facing towards the open end. That way you can actually breathe.
I have a question.
Yes.
If I took the mattress off the bunk itself and set it in the floor, would Tim Tom have more space?
I imagine that you would.
Tim Tom rips the fucking mattress out, sets it on the ground, and just.
So I imagine that you specifically have to unbuckle this mattress from its position and lay it flat out on
It's
the
like
deck.
a realistic one where like the fucking mattresses are crash couches.
Pretty much. I mean, keep in
Oh,
mind if
no.
there's any crew that is sleeping during an actual like genuine maneuver or surprise encounter, these things are built to prevent you from, smashing your skull in.
Tim Tom at realizing that just sits there's like, I don't think that's a very smart idea. Hey Yarich, do you think there's a way to like extend the seatbelts of this thing? Either
just
that or
gonna
I'm
look over.
Either that or I'm sleeping in the cargo bay.
Yarich is gonna poke his head down and be upside down, looking at this situation. And
So, Yarich, give me an engineering check.
all right, I was about to say.
I'm sorry,
sure,
Levi.
but-
I love these little slice of life moments.
No, that's fine. I'm happy that you guys are enjoying something very, non-exciting. So, you take a look at it, Yarich, and you kind of realize there is something you can do.
Hold on.
So,
Yarich is going to jump across, jump down, kind of hang over and toss himself into the spot and begins working.
yeah, you've got kind of a choice here. Basically, you could either adjust it to where you would have a much smaller space and Timothy would have a bit more breathing room, but you would kind of mush your bunk up into the ceiling, or you could actually remove your slot altogether using your tools and build a hammock and have like a little loft for yourself.
Yari likes the hammock idea more. So Yari's just gonna start dismantling this, and one thing he will do, and when he's making this, is make sure that the hammock is also able to zip up and be tight and secure for if one of these emergencies happen.
Like one of those fucking avatar plant hammocks that wrap around you.
Yes, kind
Fair
of like
enough.
that.
So, you start immediately, and I imagine, Tim Tom, this dawns on you that the moth, without any kind of consideration for others, has brought out a cutting torch and is now, like, breaking the top bunk in order to properly organize it.
Mr. Yarich, you know, I don't really mean to be, you know, that kind of guy, but I'm fairly certain that mattress is not made of non-combustible materials. And I'm not really quite certain. How did you disable the fire alarm in this cabin?
Just cutting through the top bunk already.
Is this something that we can hear in the other capsules?
I imagine, probably.
Like, wow, I mean, that Mr. Yari, that is really loud. I am deeply concerned. Are you sure this is safe? I'm not sure there's any, like, electrical wires. I mean,
So upon hearing what sounds like a fucking cutting torch or some sort of open flame, I'm going to get out of my seat, leave my capsule, and fucking pound on the door of their capsule.
So
hang on, Tim Tom wants to do this.
Yeah, no. If you're pounding on the door, it is very obvious, and you'd have to open it from the other side.
There's like a 1-inch gap. Oh, hey there, Mr. 447.
Hell is going on in there?
Oh, you know, just
at this point you
renovations.
Can probably smell the burning.
Just the consistent sound of and a new
I smell like a slight scent of burning metal. I see fucking the bear poking his eyes from the door crack.
The light from sparks.
Best he can. Tim Tom is doing the
I
best
fucking
he
tilt
can.
my head up to look over the fucking bear, and then I repeat, renovations.
Involuntary renovations.
Oh God,
What
the
has your
smell!
reach gotten up to now?
Just
Damn moth!
don't tell the guy that runs the ship.
Why shouldn't I?
Because an acetylene torch and an oxygen-rich environment don't mix.
Precisely why I should tell someone.
I imagine there's just
Tell
Tim
your
Tom-
reach
Tim
to
Tom,
cut
like,
that
quickly
nonsense
reaches into his
out before
pocket.
he lights our oxygen supply on fire.
There's just the sound of crashing metal as the second bunk falls onto the first.
Well, I don't think that's going to be a problem anymore. Tim Tom closes the door. You hear muffled, Yarich, god damn it! You're attracting too much attention! Did you get... What are we going to do with the cutout bed?
I'm gonna make a hammock.
So here are all this commotion, smelling like the burning
Turn off the
shit.
acetylene torch!
Baku just kind of
It's already off.
mows out of his room. He's like, "What the
You
fuck
see
are you
me-
idiots doing?"
You see me standing stiff as a board, staring at the closed door of their capsule while they bicker. And I'm gonna tell Vaku, renovations.
So
Do they have
you
permission
hear from the other
to
side of the door, it's
renovate
like,
a fucking
Hey,
ship that's?
hey,
And
Yarich!
as I begin to climb back into my capsule, I just simply say, no.
Yarich!
They do not.
Yarich!
I'm
What
gonna
are we
put a
gonna do
fucking
with
note-
this cutout bed?
I imagine that at this point you're already basically breaking the stitching in a seam piece by piece and string by string, and now like turning the cloth of this hammock into a reality. And at this point, Vaku is probably off trying to get a hold of Zacharias, who is in the bridge. That being said, though,
Tim
there is
Tom
a
has
sudden-
locked the door.
There is a sudden rumble as you are crossing from the cargo bay into the command area. You're having to go up the length of the ship towards the front, crossing through the cargo zone. So you're kind of standing in the middle of the floor whenever you hear that deep rumble, and it's almost like the feeling of an elevator, a deep heaviness inside of you that's telling you that the ship is moving up.
Whoa. Fuck.
You didn't
Yeah.
hear anything beyond like the sound of deep and intense industry, so you don't get a sense that there are engines currently online. You get a feeling that this whole thing is moving up on an elevator.
So
that's
Yari's just gonna work
pretty weird.
double time to get the hammock working, because once this thing takes off, he's gonna need something secure.
Yeah, I imagine that you were working to build yourself a shroud, but there is not nearly enough time.
Can Tim Tom help?
You can certainly try to mess with all of this raw
The
material.
favorite DM phrase. You can certainly try.
So
You can certainly try. So I'm just gonna keep heading up and look for Zachariah. Tell him what the fuck my idiot cohorts are doing.
So you
Bringing
cross your
acetylene
way
torches
into the
a
command
pressurized
section.
oxygen environment.
What you would find is enough time for a momentary break.
Okay. All right. I guess in that case, I will
So
pause.
cut the recording for a moment. Alrighty, so we're back on.
Yep.
Okay, so you are navigating to the front of the ship, trying to climb up the set of stairs from the cargo area to get to the bridge and the various actual like operating areas. Your first obstacle are two guards. They're standing to either side of the door and are just kind of generally watching you ascend up the staircase awkwardly until you come to confront them.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your title?
Let's talk to the gods. Hello. I'd like to see Sir Zachariah, please. If that's all possible.
So he's up on the bridge right now. What's going on?
A couple of my cohorts are getting into some shenanigans, and
You've been here for 2 seconds. What kind of shenanigans have you possibly gotten up to?
they're making renovations to one of the bunks.
Don't say they. There's one person on this, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, you need to name and
that-
shame who's responsible for this.
No,
I don't
that-
want to get
Tim Tom
court-martialed.
has a
Yeah, you don't know what you're
reasonably
doing. You're telling on us.
Yeah, Tim
Never
Tom has
actually
a reasonably high skill in fucking engineering. I imagine at this point, Tim Tom's helping him make the most
I mean,
awesome.
Vaku,
fucking-
you at least know in what fucking capsule this is happening, so you would know it's either Tim Tom or your Reach.
I imagine this is the angel and the devil on his shoulder chatting amongst each other. And they're both birds. Alright.
The angle and the devil.
The angle and the deggle.
Death angle.
Death angle.
Oh, sh-
No,
The
Angle
eagle and the
Dangle.
deagle.
So what, they're
Angle and dangle.
rearranging some stuff? What do you mean? Like, define renovations?
They're making one of the beds larger, and they're using a blowtorch. I don't think that's safe.
Oh, God fucking damn it. And he stands over and he looks over. Renner, stand here. I'll be back. And he's going to walk with you.
Yep.
So, eventually, you return back to the center of the cargo area and then climb back up the other set of stairs into the south end of the ship,
Yep.
making it into the living quarters. I imagine
This one here.
I imagine at this point, the rumbling has come to a stop and interrupted all of you again, almost as if the ship has arrived at whatever it intended to be at. And the guard approaches the bunk, the pod door, and gives it a gentle
Tim Tom
rap.
Tim Tom has locked the door.
Cutting torch has already been deactivated, by the way, so there's no sound or
Okay.
anything.
There
You're
is there
currently-
still a smell hanging in the air?
I imagine that there's probably a smell, yeah. The guard's got his helmet
So
off,
he
so he
not-
kind of crinkles his nose. And yeah, he gives a gentle rap on the door.
Tim Tom opens the door just a little. Hello? How may I
Yeah,
help you there
hi.
today, kind sir?
What kind of renovations are you up to?
Lemon?
Tim-
I don't
Tim-
think we're doing
Tim,
anything.
Tim Tom grabs fucking Yarchi's mouth. Looks left, looks right, looks left, looks right. Renovations? By... Oh, what do you mean by renovations?
Yari's
Looks
just
left,
going
looks right,
to
look.
flare up.
Tim Tom is firmly holding Yarich's fucking face to keep him from talking.
Look, you think I'm fucking stupid, just open the door.
Yari's
Oh,
just
the
going to
room's
try to
kind
reach
of...
for
Tim
the
Tom is still holding your face. I will roll
door.
for
Yari's
this.
just reaching for the door.
Tim Tom is fucking huge! What kind of roll do we have to do this to keep fucking Yarich from reaching the door?
A bluff? Or no, are you talking about keeping him?
Yes!
Tyler, are you going to oppose him?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
it is going to be probably a contest of strength, so roll opposed strength checks.
What about dexterity to
God.
keep away?
I will allow you to roll dexterity.
Alright. Where's my dexterity roll? There it is. Where-
So a 13 versus a 5. You both are like desperately trying to fight with each other until eventually it degenerates into a slap fight. And in that moment, the guard just kind of like clicks the button. Seeing as how it's already open like a crack, he just kind of slips his hand in and clicks the button from the inside of the door, and it slides open the rest of the way.
Tim Tom
you both-
stops immediately, looks at the
You
guard.
both freeze frame and look at the guard, and he sees that
I
like
can
the bunk has
explain.
dropped down.
I can explain.
Do you even fucking need to? Like, what are you doing?
He's
Picks up Yarich and just just like picks up Yarich and holds him towards the guard.
He's too big for the bunk bed, so
Yeah.
I was going to make it bigger and make a secured hammock rather, so that I could sleep in a sound way without.
As a member of the
harming-
larger species persuasion, I firmly agree with this, course of action. Please don't tell your boss.
Listen,
So,
I will make it so that we can reattach the bunk later on when we're done.
Yarich,
all right,
how are
well,
we gonna reattach it? You cut the bolts out.
Yeah, I'm going to remake the bolts, redo all that stuff. I'm going to make it so.
Ow!
You're going to
You
make
cut out
brand new
3.5
bolts after
foot-
cutting them.
Ow! You cut out 3.5 foot fucking stationary bolts.
all right. So I've got a deal for you. You make whatever this is, and he kind of like does a little swivel finger motion to gesture to the entire room. Reversible. You file a report, and you give it to the boss. I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Right. Can be done.
Tim Tom looks at the guard. Thank you.
He just kind of gives
pulls out a
you
flask.
an expression of concern before turning and walking back to his
Tim
station.
Tom pulls out a flask. You look dehydrated. Are you sure you don't need some?
On the run
for-
safety. Immediately, the
Tim
first thing
Tom's
they do
hand
is
wraps around Vaku's beak.
God.
So are you offering him a flask?
Yeah.
He just kind of reaches out, takes a hold of it, and drinks. What is it?
It's
Poison.
it's essentially just fucking
water.
whiskey,
It's just water. You
like
need
a
to
cheap
hydrate.
whiskey.
So yeah, he takes a drink and then uses his fucking forearm to like brush off his mouth, gives you a nod, and walks off with the flask.
I. What? But that's.
You did have no drink too much, so.
But that's my
How about you just
flask.
go ahead and lay down?
No, that's
get
my
some rest.
flask. No, that's my.
He's already gone.
Yarich,
Yari's just going back to work at this point.
Tim Tom shuts off the fucking acetylene torch.
No, it's already off. You're done cutting.
Tim Tom and Yari I imagine just argue about like, but that's my flask.
Yari isn't really arguing at this point. He's just working.
How can a man steal another man's flask?
He'll probably be done once he's done with it. You'll probably just pour it back and you'll give it.
Then it'll be empty.
You can get more.
We're on a ship in the middle of space.
Yeah. You can get more. Make it.
You know, the worst part is I actually.
Tim Tom, as soon as he says makes it, Tim Tom is immediately going to leave his bunk and start looking for supplies to make. He's going to start looking for supplies to look. Either A, to make like homemade, like really crappy homemade prison wine, or a fucking like homemade moonshine distillery.
You haven't even left the ground yet, and you're already trying to make bootleg alcohol.
You trashed your room, and now you're trying to make like toilet
room is
booze.
fucking turning into a trap house.
Man,
Jesus Christ.
Soon enough, they're gonna be brewing lean in their capsule.
Smash cut to Carthan and 447 sitting.
Yeah, I imagine at this point I've climbed back onto my bunk, and I'm just trying to take a fucking nap while I hear this bickering going on outside and the clattering of metal.
I totally imagined that.
Aku all by himself in his
And
room. He's
I just
like,
kind of lift my head up, hit it against the back of the fucking wall. Times like this, I wish I invested in a good pair of headphones.
No. I imagine Karth is sitting in the desk right now. You
He
both
is.
are kind of listening to this argument.
Yep.
And
speaking of headphones, Brian,
Karth and I are
this
sitting
episode of
in
Seccaro is brought to you today by Raycon.
Oh god damn it.
Fucking
Fucking
Sam.
447's
episode
like,
of fucking
it's times like this, I wish I had a good
Conceit
pair
of
headphones,
fucking
like the
Starfinder
wireless
is brought to you
Raycon.
by Raid Shadow Legends.
It's times like this I wish I invested in a good pair of headphones, like the wireless Raycon 5 Bluetooth.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned sponsors, because tonight's episode is brought to you by Fiesta.
God!
Fiesta Pay.
This is degenerating very quickly.
I just imagine
Recording. I feel like it's
447
legally
and
required to state.
Explore potentially getting Bad Dragon as a sponsor as well.
Oh god.
They're sitting in the capsule in stunned silence as they hear the pandemonium from outside.
So, as you all are getting settled, it is quite apparent. You actually do hear stuff from the outside. It's not necessarily like fucking trees and bullshit and animals chirping, but you do hear the gentle kind of brushing of the wind against the hull of this, similar to if a building were experiencing a significant like windstorm.
Right.
Because I mean the weather's kind of bad around this time. Wind's picking up, not necessarily tornado season, but you do get a sense that this ship is now on the outside, as if a lift had brought it up and it is now sitting on some kind of a launch pad. The radio chirps in, just kind of sparking through and warning everybody that they are going through the preparatory stages of warming up the engines, and the ship will soon be taking off. So you need to get settled and make sure that you're in a spot where you're not going to get rocked around, and that this is the final warning before takeoff.
Is the hammock ready to be used?
Oh hell no, you're still getting it set up.
At this point, Tim Tom is going to strap himself down, grab a hold of Yarich, willingly or otherwise, and hold on to little Yarich for your and hold on to little Yarich for dear life.
Yarich will allow.
So,
Yarich is the size of a teddy bear compared to a normal fucking human being.
Christ.
But
You all get settled down as you hear the deep, and I mean intense, rumble of thrusters. Likely lining the bottom of the craft, there is a genuine rocking sensation of instability. If you were currently walking around in the hallway, you get a sense that you would have been tossed onto your ass. But this thing is bringing itself violently into the air. And you can tell that the ship is now airborne. Not too far off the ground. There are new windows in your small crew pod, so you don't get a sense of direction or space. But after maybe a good 5 or so minutes of vertical ascent, you hear something much louder kick on. The sound of the back engines firing in cumulation with the VTOL engines. At which point, the ship begins to rocket forward, slowly at first, but it continues to just pick up speed and speed until eventually, wherever you are bracing yourself, you find either that you are pressing up against the wall or pressing down into your bunk and almost threatening to roll off. All of this comes to an apex about
Tom simply
maybe
states,
30.
if I vomit, I'm sorry.
30 or so minutes of this constant rocking and violent pressing sensation of you being sunken into the floor and being kind of buried into whatever position that you're in, until eventually it begins to slowly decline. Over the course of the next 10-20 minutes, it is calculated burns, stable, and eventually, after a couple of hours, it cuts off completely. And that the radio kicks back in, and you all feel, as soon as the engines set off, the feeling of weightlessness overtaking you.
Oh god!
Ooh. Yay!
Tom is still holding
Yeah,
on to fucking Yarich for dear life.
So the radio kicks in and says, "Please continue to brace yourself. Artificial gravity should be kicking in soon."
Or Tom was
I
going
imagine
to reach for
as-
something to fucking brace himself.
As Yari just floating around in the air in the pod,
Yari
the
is gonna flow back to...
the artificial gravity kicks in, and you almost impact face first into the deck.
Good thing you're not completely upside down and like 50 feet in the air or anything.
Yeah, Karth slowly folded like up out of his chair a few inches, and when gravity returns, he just kind of back in.
It is actually a pretty violent snap from weightlessness to weighted, and though there is a bit of variance, like you can feel yourself getting heavier and lighter, it eventually stabilizes, and you hear over
Floated
the
out
radio.
of bed a bit and was just like laying back, and then gravity.
Yeah, you hear over the radio, or rather the deck speakers, the fucking intercom, that the grav deck has been fully engaged and that you are now allowed to roam around.
Yarich
now
is going
free
to
to
go
roam
back
about
to
the
work
cabin.
on his hammock.
You're now free to move about the cabin.
Tom is going to approach Yarich. Hey, wait, hang on. I'll come with you later. Tom leaves the cabin. He's gonna find Vaku.
I imagine that you have to cross over to the next door and knock on his door.
Yes, just
What?
Is there any response? Do you let him in?
Vaku.
What?
I have a question.
What is it?
Do you have any like? Do you have any like copper hose?
There
Or-
is something important to mention that now that you've left the atmosphere, the violent wind noise has died down to nothing, and now you are left with nothing but the recyclers and the inner mechanisms of the ship to keep you company.
Do you think if I like got you to look out for like some tube, like some copper tube, or some like
The
stainless
fuck do you
steel
need it?
tube?
Absolute cretin.
Why do you need the tubing?
Just trust me.
Why?
Look, I know what I'm doing here. Trust your doctor.
How the fuck am I gonna get a piece of tubing?
I don't know. You're like the sneaky kind. You never disassembled a catalytic converter before?
At this point, one of the technicians enters into the hallway.
Tim Tom
containing all
immediately
the
stops and
boxes.
goes like casual mode, like just leaning against the wall. So, how you doing there, Vaku? Yeah. Looking left, looking right, looking left, looking right. So, I
Not
heard
getting you
about
that
that
metal
new. I heard
pipe.
about that new solar magazine. Yeah, totally great stuff there.
So as he walks past you, he actually stops and turns over to him.
Can I make a culture check to even see if solar magazine's a real thing?
Solar magazines.
The
I
fuck
fucking
even
hate
is that?
people so goddamn much.
Is that even a real thing?
What is that?
I don't know. Maybe it's like fucking
Maybe it doesn't
Zayloff 3's
exist at all,
equivalent
you're
of People
pulling it
magazine.
out of
I
your
don't
ass.
fucking know.
I imagine that this is just something that Timothy made up.
Yeah.
You cannot for the life of you identify any magazine brands by that name. Matter of fact, you know that they stopped making magazines a while ago in syndicate territory and just offered digital news bulletins. Paper is an expensive commodity in fucking interplanetary environments.
I can imagine.
Anyway, you know, if you could really consider that proposition you and I talked about, I think I'd really, be appreciative of it.
Well, what do I
Anyway,
get out of it?
you have a good rest there.
The technician is still standing in front of you.
Hello.
I
No,
heard
not-
you were making some unauthorized alterations to your ship. Well, to the ship.
Tim Tom stops for a minute, tries to talk a little bit. Can I confirm or deny? And Tim Tom rushes into his fucking room and closes the door.
Yeah, as soon as you go to close the door, he just kind of sticks his boot in, and the door automatically catches it before it closes and just opens again.
Yari just...
Do you mind if I review the procedure and make sure that it's following the same guidelines that we use to repair the ship?
I imagine Yari should at least be using relatively
Tim Tom starts panicking.
relatively normal means to do this.
Tim
You
Tom
use a grinder to smooth all the edges.
So yeah, he makes sure that that this event is thoroughly documented. And then eventually, after giving you a few pointers as to how to reverse this and put it back into its position, aside from the fact that you'll have to fund the materials to make this reversible, because you did kind of cut up and make the hammock out of the mattress.
Yeah, I will
Eventually-
I will fund the materials, of course.
Eventually, the technician finishes his report and walks away.
Tim Tom immediately starts hyperventilating.
Nothing but just the sound of recycled air and internal
Tim
mechanisms
Tom,
to keep you.
if I get you that metal tubing, what's in it for me?
Wait, metal tubing for what?
Tom immediately grabs
I don't
Yarish's
know.
fucking thing.
He grabbed Yarreach's face.
No, like his
His antenna.
hibiscus, his vocalization, so he can speak. Like just like quietly, like hush now.
Tim
And
Tom is being
Tim-
very handsy this session.
Yeah.
Tim
kinda
Tom looks at
sus.
Yarich. I mean, well, that depends. I mean, I don't really have a lot, but I'm really good at synthesizing medication.
God, I hate the implication that he's trying to like tempt Vaku with drugs.
He's hiring Baku to steal copper tubing from the interior of this ship, and he's gonna pay him in drugs. Is this guy a real doctor?
He's kind of like the Reverend in Lawbringer.
Just fuck. Like
Look,
I'm
really
already
have
kind of
much
sketched
on
out.
me. I mean,
with like a giant bear being handsy with me.
Tim Tom pulls out a syringe stick. I got my syringe stick, my syringe gun.
At this point, the
Yeah.
door
Don't
opens and
start.
Ubon steps out.
I got some shotgun shells, a few
I
rations.
fun.
Tim Tom pulls out I got a skeletal hand in a baggie? Where? Oh, that's right, I got that from the ship. Tim Tom stuffs that back in. Let's see. I got a couple of med patches, a radiation badge.
So
As
almost
he's just sorting through his items, I'm just like staring at him, just with
You
the
just
fucking
look at him?
scowl,
You
just
look at
like.
him.
almost as if not reacting to the situation at large, Uvon, like a shark, just passes by all of you silently and makes his way into the living area.
Did he say anything to me before he got up? Because I was still just
No.
laying in my bunk.
He just
Mysterious
got up
guy.
and decided.
Ooh.
How about a cut of the product?
No.
No, I don't want your drugs.
It's not drugs. I'm a medical professional. I don't
Still drugs.
drugs.
At this point, 2 or 3 pods have opened up, and people are like looking out of the doors.
I'm
Grabs
go ahead
Vaku
and
and pulls him into the fucking
I'm gonna
room.
go ahead and go to the living area where Ubon went. One, because I'm curious. Two,
You
'cause
know what I'm
this
gonna
is
do?
acting fucking
You know what I'm
weird.
gonna do? I'm gonna say the first thing I have said inside of this capsule, really. And I mean, I've said a few other things, but the first thing I've said that could ostensibly be directed towards Karth, I'm just gonna say, I don't want to listen to this anymore, and get out of my capsule, and I'm gonna find the observation deck.
Yeah.
Right.
Tim Tom grabs Vaku and pulls him into his cabin.
Yeah, Karth is just going to also leave, probably heading towards either the observation deck as well or the cargo hold, just to do something.
I'm just sick and tired of
Yeah,
dealing with
Yari's
Tim
just
Tom's shit right now, so I'm just gonna be like, no thank you. Have
So
a good day.
you,
And then
you
also go
all,
to the observation deck.
you all start looking around for the observation deck, and what you come to the conclusion of after asking people is that, especially with Baldor engineering and their ship architecture, they see windows as a structural weakness that is used sparingly. So the only place that has viewports that you can genuinely look out into space would be the bridge. So do you all want to go to the bridge?
I was kind of hoping there might have been like some kind of camera and display system in lieu of windows, because I would assume also that windows are.
Well, I mean, of course,
structurally
if you would use the computer that is installed into your desk, you would be able to view the camera
Right,
out
but
into
I was
space.
hoping there would have been some kind of like fuck huge wall panel in place of a window. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, this is a military vessel and does not spare such recreations.
Fair enough. I don't
Not
want
yet,
to.
anyway.
I don't want to be an impediment in the bridge, because that's very important shit for the function of the ship is happening. So I'm just gonna find somewhere to chill out of earshot of whatever the fuck Tim Tom's trying to do.
Yeah, I guess.
Yari's
you
just
know.
actually getting a little bit annoyed because it's distracting him from working on his bunk.
Yeah,
Is
you all,
the living area still within earshot of this shit?
it is in a different section and is kind of smoothing over and muffling noise. I'm gonna
I'll
say,
go there.
if you all are in the like genuine sleeping area, like your little private lounges, it's kind of easy to hear what's going on in the other pods. But if you enter into another section of the ship, the noises from just kind of the general operations smother over any other
That's
talking.
what I'm getting at. If we're in our capsules, we can hear each other pretty well because there's like limited space, probably thin walls too. So
So
I'm
imagine,
going to the
like,
living area. That's a different section of the ship. I'm gonna go to the fucking living area and just
Yeah.
hang
So
out
I
there for a
imagine
minute.
because Vaku said no, thank you, he's just gonna like, obviously he's not gonna hold him there. He's gonna let him go and be like, shoot, and then probably either help Vaku or not Vaku, Yarich, or just go explore about for a little bit.
All right. So, the majority of you enter the living lounge.
Yep.
Like I said, it is comparatively tight quarters, especially considering that you were planet-side earlier. But it is enough to where the majority of you can kind of have your own personal breathing room and just kind of chill out in a communal environment. Some of you are sitting at tables. There's a small, corner couch that is hard, but, I mean, it's it's better than just say the fucking simple desk chair.
Yeah.
So a couple of you are just kind of chilling out, splaying out wherever you can get, just relaxing.
As I get in there and find a seat, when I see 447 walking in, I'm gonna go, man, this is a noisy fucking ship.
If you're referring to our living arrangement, I'm inclined to agree.
I mean, I remember the passenger ship that we took off of,
Him
took to
Tom
the
just
planet, and it was
offered me
nowhere near this fucking
drugs
loud.
in order to steal a pipe
Yeah, I
for
heard.
whatever fucking bullshit project he's got
Believe
going
me,
on.
Vaku, I heard.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know
Wait,
what
man,
place a
up to?
medical professional has trying to scrap copper wiring out of a ship, but here we are.
Wait a second, I thought that was just the general sounds of the ship. You mean all that crashing and sawing and cutting was you people?
I'm
It was
gonna
just-
point my finger directly into the detective's chest. Do not insinuate that was me.
I got dragged into it because fucking Tim.
You
Thomas
got
just
dragged into
dropped
what?
At this
Whatever
point, I'm
weird
gonna
bullshit
recompose
project him and
myself.
Yarich are up to.
I'm gonna recompose myself. They decided that the living arrangements were not to their comfort, and given that Tim Tom is a bear, I understand that. Want to know what Yarich's solution to this was? A blowtorch.
Christ.
You say that as I'm almost about to suggest something, and then you say a blowtorch, and I just drop my finger and go, that is somehow exponentially more stupid than anything I was going to come up with.
Yeah. So,
You see Tim Tom
Yarich
walk
dismantled part of that bed with a blowtorch, and then, I heard Tim Tom trying to bribe a few people, and then he later tried to pay Vaku with 447 is not laughing for the record. I am, because I have trouble fucking saying
You
this.
tried to pay me with drugs.
Or
To
either-
steal
Or to
copper
steal-
tubing from the
I know,
ship.
I know that Yarich isn't in here. Tim, did you say you were leaving the room?
Yeah, I imagine by this point Tim Tom is just walking past and just like exiting the room.
As soon as you walk into the living room, you are going to get a withering glare from me.
Tim Tom stops.
Doctor, what has
What?
gotten into you?
Fuck is
To put
wrong
this
with you,
nicely, what in
Tim
the
Tom?
absolute fuck are you thinking?
What do you mean?
Why
Don't
are you
play that
trying
game
to
with me.
scrap copper from the ship?
And why are you trying to offer me drugs as payment?
That's
Why did you stop
unbecoming.
Yarich
That
when he
is
was cutting apart the ship?
That's unbecoming behavior for a military medical professional.
You
Professionals
almost
have
get the
standards.
sense.
You are not being up to your standards.
No, it's not so much that he's not being up to his standards. You almost get the sense like he was recently deprived of something that he sustained himself off of.
Oh no!
You almost get this like
Look,
If
I
you can get the-
understand your reach is a handful, and
Tim
We should have
Tom,
expected him to-
crackhead confirmed.
we should have expected him to do something like this, so he's not blameless either, but... Doctor,
He's been keeping himself company with medical grade cocaine in a fucking flask. Just joking.
Tim Tom kind
we've
of
been on this ship for 10 minutes, and you're already trying
Losing your
to...
goddamn mind.
You're already trying to bribe one of your own compatriots with drugs to steal copper.
Look. One of the guards stole my flask.
That's
And-
all it took.
And look, I have a bit of a problem here.
Okay.
Is that what you want to hear? I
If
like my
all-
hooch,
If
and I know how to make it efficiently, easily.
You know what? You know what, Doctor? I think
And-
that you've been presented with a wonderful opportunity to dry the fuck out for a while. You should take it. 'Cause
I
apparently
agree.
you need it.
If this is... Maybe you need to sober up.
Tim Tom is like
If you're
rubbing
really
the side
just-
of his cheek a
If
little
you're
bit.
really this dependent on that substance, I think you should probably try kicking it.
Look, I'm not addicted. I can quit anytime I want.
Oh god.
I upon hearing this, I look
Then
at
do
Coast
it
and then
now.
look back at the doctor.
No, I
You
just
of
would
all
say,
people
Tim,
should
please,
know that's not.
please don't
that
tell me
you're full of
you can
shit.
say that with a straight face and not understand why that's bad. I'm sure you
Any
probably
way
had at
for
least
Tim Tom to lie to himself?
Roll to
I think you're already doing it.
roll
I
to
can't
sustain your self delusion.
I can't believe
After
we're
you say
having
this,
a
I'm gonna say,
fucking
you know
drug
what?
intervention.
You know what? I'll be right
live
back.
in the fucking ship.
And I'm
I-
gonna go back to my cabin for a little bit, and I'm gonna get into my bag, and I'm gonna pull out a deck of playing cards and go back to the fucking living room.
Mm-hmm.
I never once expected to be party in an intervention, especially now.
And I'm gonna come back in. I'm gonna put the cards on the table and go. All right. Well, how about this? Distraction is a great way to get over shit like this. Play some.
Are you playing like
What
21?
happened to a branch of
5-card
Alcoholics
Hold'em?
Anonymous here in the
I don't
ship?
know, we'll
would
play-
there?
And if you just want to drink something, I'm sure we can find you some water or
Apple juice.
juice, milk. Milk,
I know a
maybe.
great fungus that is capable of fermenting sugars into alcohol,
We're not doing that.
but I
You
can
seem to
cultivate it
miss-
rather easily.
Look, if you just need to drink something, if you just miss the physical action of lifting a cup to your mouth, then we can find you some beverages. But this, if being away from alcohol, that's not gonna fly.
Listen, it's not a matter of what you want to do. It's what you should do. What you should do is just sit down and relax.
And your habit at this point is starting to affect the rest of us.
I mean, you did abide dismantling a ship that wasn't ours. And then
I
trying-
did not have anything to do with that. That
You-
was Yari.
You could have stopped him.
And then you tried to actively, and this is you tried to actively dismantle components of the the space-faring vessel we're on to make a distillery. Oh, nice.
Wait, hang on. Is that a space
good
engineer's
art.
fucking
It
ship?
looks like Space Engineers, yes.
Ooh.
It's a well-made space engineer ship, though.
Yeah.
Listen,
It looks good. I like this.
it definitely fits the aesthetic of a big, bulky cruiser.
It looks like that dropship thing that Levi showed me from BattleTech.
This is correct.
Yes.
Space Engineer's model of that vessel.
That looks pretty good.
All right.
Anyway, we were in the midst of an intervention.
Yes, you were.
Fucking tried to make a distillery out of parts of the ship, as the detective was saying.
Listen, how about this? I'll put this in the plainest, most understandable terms I can. You were willing to potentially cause great harm to yourself and those around you, as well as technically stealing, just to have something to drink for a few minutes. That sounds bad, doesn't it?
When you put it like that, and you
What
twist
I'm
the
putting it-
words,
I'm not twisting anything. I'm just laying it out plainly without any bullshit. I'm not putting it badly. I'm putting it, well,
He's
Plainly.
telling it to you straight.
Look. I think I
Don't
get the
mince
point
words.
here.
We're a unit, okay? We're operating together as more or less combatants. We all need to be at the top of our game. We can't have something like this getting in the way of our effectiveness. We need to maintain unit cohesion, and that means this alcohol thing has got to stop. If this is really what being away from it is doing to you.
All right.
At this point, Uvan has begun making a sandwich. So,
Tim Tom
You
is
all-
going to stand up.
Now, I recommend you sit down with Ankos and play some cards. If you want something to drink that isn't alcohol, I'll find something for you.
so
Tom
you
kinda
all
sits there.
chill out.
Fine.
yeah. Just gonna
What?
I'm gonna put it down and say, okay, well, if we've got 4 people, we can do spades. If we don't have 4 people, we can just do
In all
bad
honesty,
enough, which may
I
be-
don't know. Even though a lot of people in my platoon know how to play spades, I have yet to ever learn how to play spades.
I won't explain it here, but it's very easy, and if you ever want to play it in real life and can find 2 other people, we can play it.
I'm going to look around and try to find some non-alcoholic beverages.
It's not that hard. This
Where
place
did
is
Uvan get the supplies for a sandwich from?
This place is stocked with just your regular run-of-the-mill basic survival needs. So you've got water in surplus and food in surplus.
Well, okay, cool. Nice to know. Not
I'll sit
actively-
down at the table, pass them around, and I'll join in on this card game.
Nothing especially interesting, but that's what you get whenever you're preparing for a journey in a spacefaring vessel.
As we sit down and play, and Uvon eats his sandwich, I want to try to start trying to open him up a little bit, get him to start talking a little bit just through casual conversation, because I don't like how he's been so inward recently. It's kind of concerning me.
Yeah, you go ahead and just start pestering him. Give me a diplomacy check to see how much he can kind of work.
Soft A inward or hard R inward?
What?
Inward, not inward. Inward.
Yeah.
In
Sam, did you think I was calling him a slur?
Fuck's sake.
I had an opportunity. I didn't fucking tell
An opportunity to fucking look like an idiot.
Come on, you
Yes.
stupid lizard.
inward.
You lizard. I hate everybody. Alright, anyways.
Christ.
How did I do?
So, you go ahead and just kind of start trying to open up the conversation with a generalist, just kind of talking about the day's events and the ship itself. And as you're doing so, Uvon is getting all of the ingredients for his sandwich, which you can tell he's making himself. He brought out his bag, his materials, and his food, and is currently making something, preferring his stuff over the ship's.
Not.
That being said,
that's right.
once he's done and he's sat down and he is eating, he kind of breaks the one-sided conversation by pretty much just saying, I know what you're trying to do. Just give me a couple days.
Couple days? God. Now you're just making me even more worried. Listen, I don't like annoying you, but clamming up like this still worries me.
Well, you're right to be worried.
I mean, I just figured that I told you all of this insane bullshit the last time we met about current predicament, and you
Would you
pretty
rather
much...
I feed you a bunch of lies?
No, but I'm just saying, when I initially told you about everything happening, you took the information like a champ. Somehow. And now is when you're worried. That makes me worried. Once again, if you're not ready to talk, I'm not going to force it out of you because I can't. But just remember, we're all friends here. I trust these guys, and you should.
Alright. Like I said, couple of days.
Alright. That sandwich looks fucking good, by the way.
He just kind of takes a breath out. It's literally some lunch meat I bought a week ago. It's been frozen until this point.
I've been eating Fiesta Pails for the past 2 fucking weeks. That sounds amazing.
It gives you a look of confusion.
You don't want to know.
You don't.
He kind of
know.
he kind of sighs, and right before taking a bite of his sandwich, he just simply holds the entire thing out to you.
No, I'm good. I'm just making an observation. Oh,
I'm
by the way,
alright.
if you want to know what a Fiesta Pail tastes like, puke in your mouth and then swallow it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make another one. He just sets it down on the counter without a plate and starts making another one.
I'll go ahead and eat it. Fuck it.
It is a sandwich. So,
Sandwich.
Nothing
And
remarkable,
the bitch.
but it tastes like
And the
divinity
bitch.
compared to the Fiesta Pair.
Yes.
probably. So, you all chill out, spend the rest of your time either fucking around with diagrams, looking over your past notes, making general conversation,
Hey, Levi,
until... What's up?
how long do you think this journey would last us?
You're not necessarily certain. You literally just asked for a way off planet with no end in sight.
That is true.
Tom is going to start quietly working in his free time.
Can you
Offside.
make me an engineering check?
Yes, I can. I
Oh
actually
my
have skills in
God.
engineering.
Is he actually trying to scrap copper out of the fucking...
Well, I'm not going to say scrap copper. He's essentially
Oh
attempting to
my
make a
God.
small distillery.
He's not giving up. We failed.
You said it needs to be in engineering?
Yes.
Are you trying to hide this from the party?
He's probably hiding it in his quarters. So, I imagine that as the day continues to draw around, you start stalking out the cargo area and looking for spare parts. You do find a drum of a reasonable size and begin just kind of messing around with different bits and bobs, plastic tubing, various things in order to ferment alcohol.
Just doing a little Tim Tom food.
But by the time that you have ended your
Tom.
progress today, you've collected an assortment of scrap materials that will help you assemble a fucking shipbound distillery. And you are now hiding it in your crew quarters. How well you hide it is dependent on a stealth check.
Tom just stuffs it in a fucking, the equivalent of a Walmart bag and just stuffs it under his bed.
So, I imagine that with a check of a 9, with an average roll of a 10 for everyone else, it is very apparent that Tim Tom is taking spare parts from the cargo bay and walking into his quarters.
Who wants to be the first one to say something?
God damn it, Tim Tom.
I don't
we
like
should
being
all confront him together again.
in here. I thought we made some progress.
Hey, can I make a sleight of hand check against Tim Tom? See if I can just steal the parts back from him.
Oh, are you wanting to just, take certain bits and
It's
bobs
gonna
that
be
are
a
critical?
back and forth game of Tim stealing parts and Faku stealing them back.
I'm gonna say yes. He's slipping past a sleight of hand check versus a Timothy perception check.
Okay.
Your progress is being stalled by an absence of critical parts that you swear you stole.
Those are stolen military-issue weapons. Oh yeah? What are you gonna do about it? Put us in jail? No, we're gonna steal them back.
Steal them back.
So
So,
Tom just kind of sits there, it's like, I could have swore
How about we time this to where as soon as you're looking for the parts, you just hear a
one moment. Tim Tom starts stuffing all the stuff in a duffel bag and stuffs it under his chair, stuffs it under his bed. Hang on, I'm naked.
Is the door locked?
No.
Opens door.
It's just a bear. Just conveniently pushing a duffel bag underneath the desk.
Oh, and Tim Tom immediately just, gets up.
Tim Tom.
Hey, what you doing?
I'm gonna lean up against.
Looking for these? I just wave the parts I stole from him. Yeah,
Hang
it's
on,
not
can I do a
cool.
bluff check to act like I don't know what these parts are?
Oh my god.
This is the biggest waste of a fucking session I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Parthen raises one eyebrow.
I guess bluff versus sense motive.
Yes.
Yes.
You're
With a
working
-1.
against a detective.
I don't really know what you mean by that.
All right.
I don't recognize those
I'm just gonna
parts.
go ahead and kick you right in the balls right here.
A bad check and still beats his.
He literally would. I would have to roll a fucking 1.
And
Actually,
even then you would still beat him.
yeah.
So it is so blatantly obvious of what is going on. There's no beating around the bush.
Tim, come here, and I'm gonna beckon for him to follow me. And I'm gonna lead him to the living room, where I'm going to assume everybody else is waiting for this intervention that we've set up in advance.
Yari's just gonna join in on this.
I'm gonna be standing in the fucking living quarters.
I should remind you, it has not been a day.
As you guys enter the living quarters, I'm gonna step out of the shadows and I'm going to
pull out a chair and I'm gonna say, Tim Tom, why don't you take a seat right here?
I think I'd rather stand.
That's strange. Why does that feel totally wrong? Anyways, Tim, you've served on a military vessel, right?
Yes. Why do you ask?
This isn't my field of expertise, but back in your old days, if somebody was caught, say, stealing components from the ship, if that got found out, they'd probably get thrown into a brig pretty fast, wouldn't they?
Stealing? By what do you mean?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Maybe if there was like a
Yeah,
certain
try and steal this shit.
copper tube that went missing from a
Yeah,
wall panel.
this copper tube that went missing from one of the wall panels up over in engineering. That I just so happened to find in your back pocket.
Listen, Tim, you're a good guy, but you're a horrible liar and you have a fucking problem. You're gonna knock this shit off, or we will get you thrown in the goddamn brig. You're acting like a crack addict.
He's acting like the how many sugars do you have in your Pepsi guy?
Ew.
How many sugars do you add to your Pepsi? I like to have at least 5.
That fucking comment just jarred me so badly I flew directly into a tree.
Excellent.
Yeah, listen. Okay, anyway, to back that up again, you have a problem, and if you continue to demonstrate that you can't fix this of your volition, we're gonna fix it for you, and we're gonna do it in a very unpleasant way.
You're going cold turkey at this point.
Look, it's not like being thrown in the brig would be the end of the world. At that point, you're somewhere safe where you can detox and not be tempted by this shit anymore.
If you want to go in there voluntarily, I'm sure it'd be easy to arrange.
Addicted.
You're at the point where you're stealing parts of a ship to fuel your addiction, alright? And that's not good for you, and it's not good for the rest of us either.
Like, the parts I got while they were preparing to leave were scraps that they did not want.
Yarich, I'm gonna be honest on you're on thin ice here too.
Yarich, you activated a blowtorch inside of a pressurized environment.
You started dismantling and cutting up a ship that isn't yours.
Never mind the fumes. The
How'd you
flakes
like
of
it?
metal getting thrown around in the air.
How would you like it if I shit in one of your pillowcases? Kind of about the same energy here.
You're not off the hook either, buddy.
Understood.
Tim Tom's just kind of sitting there like, look,
At least Yarich is being a good sport about it.
you guys,
You
I don't
are
think you
being
know
a
what you're talking about,
fucking-
you know?
You don't think we know what we're talking about.
No, come
What's your
on
defense?
now.
What's your
Maybe I'm
defense?
just getting
Let's hear it.
some supplies, you know? Just
You better roll a bluff against that.
Supplies from the walls.
Supplies for what?
17.
29, suck it, nerd.
I'm
Also,
totally,
that was an 18, by the way.
I'm totally fucking lying.
I also
As you say this, I'm going to say your eyes are darting. You're not making eye contact. Your hands are sweaty, and I'm gonna start going down all of the
There's
tells that
spaghetti
you
coming
are.
out of your pockets.
A lot of it. It's
No.
actually turning into full-blown ravioli at this point.
Oh dear.
I'm just gonna go down the list of all of the tells that
spaghetti.
he has.
Even though he's a bear,
just
he's
grab a
exhibiting
plate and
very
start
human
getting-
body language.
Well, I mean,
As spaghetti
yeah.
falls out of Tim Tom's pockets, I'm just gonna like grab a plate from the mess hall and just kind of start plating it up.
anyways, he says this. I'm gonna say, I know you're lying. You've been caught. Don't waste our time and don't waste yours. And I'm gonna present my earlier question. Are you gonna get your shit straight, or are we gonna have to straighten it for you?
Tim Tom seems very offended and shocked and concerned and angry at the situation.
Doctor, we're doing this because we're concerned about you, and by extension, concerned about you.
So at this point, you actually notice that Uvan gets up from his seat. He was currently messing with a lot of datapad information. Walks over to Tim Tom after hearing that, like, very violent response. And is just kind of standing at his side. Not, like, looking or focusing at anything else, just looking at Tim Tom.
I've been under a lot of damn stress lately.
We all have.
And I think if someone's been under some stress lately, they should have the right to at least attempt to get rid of it.
Fair.
But you're doing it in a way that's self-destructive and detrimental.
How
to
is
the
it
rest of this-
self-destructive to you?
And detrimental to the rest of this unit. If you get caught stealing parts from the ship, that looks bad on us too. We have a reputation to maintain.
Bad enough we've already been caught dismantling parts of it. What you do affects badly on all of us, and I'd like to at least keep this ship open as an option in the future for
And
transport.
even though turning you into the brig will still
Damn,
look
Fumes
bad on
getting
us because you had to steal parts to get there, it will at least serve as a detox and stop it from happening again. I'm willing to take that hit. So like Enko said, either you clean yourself up or we clean you up.
Listen, if this wasn't you, we would have just gone ahead and not given you the option. The fact that we're giving you one at all means that we actually do care a little bit about what you have to say, but we're getting very, concerned about your ability to self-govern.
You've done right by us. It was your house that we crashed in whenever we ended up in Kiliad. You decided to come with us. You've given us critical medical attention in times where we needed it. Doctor, we're doing this because we need you to get better. We want you to get better.
When you say
I didn't even know this was a problem until today, but it's gotta stop. Go on.
almost has this like closes his eyes look, like he's thinking really hard.
You've done a lot for us and we're trying to help you. It's that simple.
And then Tim Tom hands you the various copper pipes and such that he's acquired.
So at this point, Uvan, who has been, like, rapidly closing and opening his hands as if making fists and releasing them, sees that you hand over most of the stuff and just simply leaves the conversation without a word, goes back to his seat, and starts going through his datapad stuff again.
You're making the right choice, Doctor.
Tim Tom gets up and leaves.
It's at this point I'm going to approach Vaku and hand him these components. I assume you know where he took these from.
Yeah, roughly I can hand these over to the engineering and they can get it sorted out.
Do your best.
Alright.
And Yarich, you're the one bunking with him, so you make sure he doesn't keep making stupid decisions.
Yari puts a claw to his head. Yes, I'll do my best.
I understand that he's much more physically imposing than you are, so we don't expect you to be able to stop him, but
But you
If you-
can say something.
if you see something, say something.
That I can do.
Alright.
Oh
The
god.
choices, the personal choices we make, given how closely we become intertwined, affect one another. We all have to make sure we're all at the top of our game. And as far as I'm concerned, that means no addictions, no withdrawals, nothing like that.
Yari's not.
I'm gonna go up to Tim Tom and, having to reach up to do it, I'm gonna put a hand on his shoulder, kind of give him, I don't know, like just a light shake, like, it's okay, buddy, you'll be.
Tim Tom brushes your hand off his shoulder and tries to find somewhere else to be.
Yeah, you eventually find solace in your own room.
Ah!
God, all that made me want to fucking drink.
So, with that, there is now a uncomfortable silence that has descended onto the rest of the crew.
After hearing Anko say that made me want to drink, I'm just gonna kind of shake my head. Don't be a hypocrite now.
Don't worry, I'm mostly kidding. And I'm gonna turn around and just find a spot on the couch to sit down again.
So, the rest of the day passes without note. You've all got your own little projects and casual conversation to work out.
Don't want to bother the people on the bridge too much since they're doing important work. So, this is information I think I could obtain from the bridge, but I'm going to try to go through other channels first. I want to know what the name of this ship is and where it's going.
So you do identify that ever since that this ship was decommissioned, the houses have a tradition that a ship that has been mothballed is stripped of its title, as if the original memory of the ship has died.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, right now, this ship only has its ID tag to go by, a series of numbers, until it's given another nickname or title. And where are you heading? Currently, right now, the best that you can glean from the majority of people is that Zacharias has a contact with an FTL capable cruiser.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I'll relay this info to the party just to let them know. We're en route to a ferry craft with an FTL drive. Evidently, we're leaving the system.
Any idea of our destination beyond that?
None in particular. That's all I found out.
You'd have to talk with Zach about that.
We'd have to go to the bridge and ask Zacharias directly for that information.
Right, well, we'll wait until we're at least safe with this cruiser before we begin to ask probing questions.
Probably for the better.
Around an hour or two passes until eventually the lights dim and emergency lighting clicks over, warning the crew that there is a circumstance about that merits caution. However, there is no expression over the intercom other than to stay in your own positions and basically await for any kind of confrontation. After maybe 30 or so minutes, the lights cut out and go back to normal. And it is at this time that you all have spent basically an entire day wandering around, talking, conversing, chatting with people. And it seems like the night cycle for this particular cabin or crew would probably be coming to fruition. Time to try and get some sleep.
So before everyone begins going to sleep, Yari's just going to go out on his own to find Zacharias.
So you have to clamber up, discuss it with the guards. They seem to be kind of hesitant to let you in, but seeing as how most of the important maneuvers have passed, they do let you into the forward compartment into the command sector. So one of the first things that you notice is that the mechanic crew has taken up positions in several areas in this section of the ship, occupying various systems and components and directing that information towards evidently somebody within the actual bridge itself, probably Zach. Passing through this area, you have to head through a hallway and pass by the brig. Now, the interesting thing is that you do hear the sounds of a scuffle or a confrontation from the brig, like the sound of probably just kind of contact with metal and dropping things. But you pass by the brig and head into the bridge. There are plenty of guards in here, about 2 or 3 just kind of watching over everything. Various mechanics operating the essential critical systems, and then finally within a throne, for lack of a better term, probably better just denoted as a command chair, Zacharias is interpreting the feed from all of the ship systems and directing its course and settling matters that kind of spring up on the way. So you maneuver over to his chair, and he simply turns it just a little bit to face you. What's going on?
I'm inside to be a bother at all, but someone how to say this? Well, truth be told, father figure was kidnapped from me and we were separated. We were supposed to go to Coliseum, however you pronounce it.
He kind of narrows his eyes. You mean the capital of the Draconis Dominion?
Yeah, we were going there to investigate some ruins or something, but I don't recall exactly what it was, but he was taken by people with some blue markings. I can't remember what it was, but
TMI. Matter of fact, now that you're thinking about it, they definitely shared a couple similarities with the very same people that kind of forced you into that confrontation on the terraformer. They weren't sharing the same markings, but they were wearing the same configuration of armor. That being said, though, you share this information with Zacharias, and he kind of brushes you aside and says, "We'll take care of these matters in a moment. We have to make it to our destination first."
understood.
I've been busying myself sorting diplomatic matters. It's very difficult to get a unaffiliated craft out of an active war zone. These alerts that we've been experiencing have been transmissions and warnings. Basically, identifying calls. I've been having to smooth things over to make sure that we're not selected as a target.
Understood. But if you get some time to
I'll call us all to a meeting and we will discuss what we intend to do next.
Understood. Yarich at that point will go make himself invisible.
He kind of crosses his fingers, and you pass through all of the command zone stuff again. Brig, the various utility systems.
He'll stop to look at all the engineers doing their things, trying to get information passed on, and just kind of marvel at this ship.
It is utilitarian. Definitely in nature. It's not anything ornate or elegant, but it's got a lot of interesting technologies that you wouldn't see in a Syndicate vessel.
Yeah. But afterwards, he keeps moving on and thanks the guards as he goes by and says he won't be a bother. And he'll go back to work on his hammock while waiting.
So, with that, the day passes into the night cycle, and you all are attempting to get some sleep. Everyone except for probably Timothy, who's trapped in fucking addiction, sweats, because apparently he can't go an hour without alcohol.
Booze doesn't even give you withdrawal either. I don't know what the fuck it got.
I think it's a combination
on board this vessel.
What? I think it's a combination
What is
of
for food on board this vessel?
What kind of food
what do they
is there?
serve? What kind of food do they serve on board?
So, in terms of military rations that they have preserved and dried goods. So it's not necessarily anything great. It is ship quality.
Any sort of dried fruits?
Oh, he's still on it!
I imagine that they definitely have varieties of dried fruits.
Continue trying to make
So
great
Tim Tom.
salads and
So
shit.
here's what Tim Tom's going to do. He's going to not steal, but collect some dried or preserved fruits and hide them somewhere in his cabin.
This and what? The fucking brig.
Fair enough. You start.
Make a stealth check.
Yeah, versus Yarich, I guess.
It'll be a little bit easier than the others.
Oh, that's pretty modest, actually. That's actually... Ooh.
Versus Yarich's perception specifically, because it's kind of hard to catch somebody not eating specific portions of their food.
Yeah,
even then, would Yarich be able to put two and two together with him hiding fruit?
Yeah,
I don't think that'd be a red flag.
Yarich is a fucking...
Yeah.
That was a 1, by the way, for the recording.
Reach is clueless.
Yep. Goddamn. Fucking, we're not gonna notice Tim Tom making this fucking alcohol from old, rotten, fermented fruit, and we're just gonna think he got better. Jesus.
So, throughout the night cycle, Ankos, having shared the top bunk, you are subject to your companion, Uvon, getting up and walking throughout the pods at various portions of the night. You always see a light from his datapad from his bunk, and it is very clear that he is not getting much sleep. Almost to the point where he just straight up exits the pod with his duffel bag over his shoulder.
Did he leave any items behind?
Well, I mean, he takes his stuff and then heads out.
So he's basically like cleared the cabin. Like he's not.
Yeah, pretty much.
As I see him, like if I could see him like getting his duffel bag, I'm gonna say, "What? Am I that bad of a roommate?"
He leaves without a word.
I don't want to be a pest. I should ask him about this. He gonna fucking tell me anything?
Are you gonna go chase him down?
Yeah, fine, fuck it. This is alarming behavior. I need to do something about this.
So, what you eventually find him doing is that he has left the living quarters, has entered the cargo, and in a small corner to himself, he has stacked up a barrel of some various material heavy enough to not move, and has begun wrapping it in padding. If you spy on him for long enough, eventually he secures the padding and begins beating the shit out of it. Like, he is just kind of
he's made a punching bag out of it.
He is walking back and forth and is now actively training with the punching bag.
I guess I will leave him to it.
So
I'll let him vent his frustration how he sees fit.
Fair enough. That being said, though, if a normal person were doing something like that, even with the padding, they'd probably be pretty hurt. It's evident that he's pretty well trained in melee exercise and hand-to-hand shit.
One of my
So you
biggest
can leave
concerns
him be.
upon watching this and why I should if I should stop him is just so he doesn't damage somebody else's property, because that barrel's gonna break before he does.
So, about later in the night, with you actively worrying, he comes back in with his duffel bag over his shoulder and wordlessly goes to sleep.
Yeah, well, I guess, hoping that maybe he's relieved a little bit of stress and pent up, I'll just try to go to bed as well. But I'm gonna be thinking about this a lot, and I doubt I'm gonna well even.
So, as into a new day cycle, what are you all doing?
Hungry. If the thing's not finished, he'll.
I will say that by midday today, you'll have your hammock complete in actual, like, fairly functioning manner. Tim Tom's got plenty of space, you've got plenty of space. Comparative to the small pod, anyway.
Does this ship have a shooting range by any chance?
I would imagine that there is probably something set up to where the guards can train with their weapons.
Actually, this is
I
so
bet
you said
there's
this
a
is a
digital shooting.
Probably
I was
like
thinking-
an EST or something like that.
if this is a military ship, especially one that has weightlessness,
Yeah.
I'd feel like there would be a gym around here somewhere
There
for
is.
weight training.
Well, I mean, they do have artificial gravity, but there is absolutely a gym.
Yeah, I kind of want to go check that out. I'm actually gonna hit up Uvon and say, "Hey, want to go hit some plates?"
It kind of gives you a strange look and just kind of like mutters, "You work out."
No, but you do.
He kind of cracks his knuckles and starts walking with you.
Since there is a range here, I will offer to take Baku to the range and help him train with a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, when Centurion wakes up, Karth is already like gone and out of the cabin.
Fair.
Tom is working on a chemical formula to turn glucose and sugar into alcohol. Supplies of material he has on
I was thinking about.
Yeah, give me a physical science.
I was thinking about doing this as well. Maybe somebody should conduct a welfare check for our fucking problem child.
Physical science is what you need.
22.
You are messing with the beakers and various components.
No. Like he's just coming up with like right now it's just like hypotheses and theorems to.
Yeah, you secure that mental information away, and you now have a conceivable way to turn your fucking fruits into alcohol.
It's gonna start rotting, and we're gonna fucking smell it before we actually do it.
Holy shit!
And then, at the first opportunity, Tom will start this process.
It must not be that hard to do this, because I remember there was a fucking bag of grapes I left in my fridge for too long one time, in like a bottom drawer, and it smelled like wine after like a week and a half.
Christ.
Apparently, it's easy.
Probably not. You don't want to drink.
It would probably make you fucking sicker than hell, but I imagine that it smelled exactly like wine.
Really wants a drink.
Tom is down bad in a way that I've never seen somebody down bad for fucking.
I knew there were hints that he was a bit too fucking comfortable with the bottle, but I didn't realize it was this fucking.
Is this like our punishment for like ignoring his problem for so long?
It must be.
Is this karma?
I would just like to point out, in Pathfinder, all of our characters were basically fucking alcoholics and none of us gave a fuck. Here it's being treated like a serious, like, detrimental issue.
Those are society's progressed since then.
Yeah.
So, Timothy, something that is concerning, like, the full process, according to your estimation, may take like 4 to 6 weeks.
Tom, when he sees that, his eye twitches. And he's going to immediately start ripping, like, just redoing it to see if there's a way to accelerate the process.
Oh god, make a fucking...
I wish I could be a devil on your shoulder and tell you to go ask Zacharias for booze.
Make a medicine check.
Okay.
You're just gonna make lean, aren't you?
26.
Make lean!
You straight up realize...
Cough syrup, Sprite, Jolly Ranchers.
Norse god of space lean.
The Norse god of lean.
If you were willing to use your own medical supplies, you could accelerate this process and make basically, definitely not necessarily safe, but functioning alcohol.
Use cough syrup.
When you say a portion of my medical supplies, how much for how much?
Not a lot, but like definitely a noticeable amount.
Can't even trust him with his own medical supplies.
I'm going
He's
to
make lean.
I'm gonna have actual trust issues after if it breaks.
Tom is like looking at his medical supplies, and he just like closes his eyes really hard, like thinking, "Come on, think of another way. There has to be another way other than using this." He closes his like medical kit and slides it under his bed. Not wanting to break.
Not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, you're just running dry.
It's a big no-no around here.
Jesus Christ.
I imagine at this point, there is another knock at your door.
Tom is the equivalent of sweating profusely.
Yeah, I imagine at this point there's a knock at your door, and you quickly open it to discover that it is the guard from beforehand now returning your flask.
Oh.
Tom takes the flask.
It's gonna be very...
Closes the door, shakes the flask up to his ear.
You hear a couple of droplets, like, rattling inside.
Worse.
So, what you discover is backwash whiskey.
Tom doesn't care.
Oh god.
He is desperate.
Mongoloid.
Fucking degenerate.
Degenerates like you.
Degenerating into a cave bear.
Whoa. Holy fuck.
So, as this process is underway, you are training in the gym with Vaku, Ankos. Fucking 447 is treating
I'm training with
Does-
Uvan,
Uh,
sorry.
Uvan.
Yes,
I will
Vaku
say
and I are
this.
at the security checkpoint trying to get into the range so we can practice with the sniper rifle.
Yeah, it's not that hard, though they are warning you that it's rated for only specific firearms, ones with actual, like, dummy rounds, so you'll have to use their supply.
As long as they have dummy rounds compatible with the sniper rifle, it shouldn't be an issue.
Fair enough. Eventually you all get situated and start training. As you are messing around with Uvan, you start to actually, like, he has always been curious about your capacity in melee combat. And so eventually he proposes that you are to spar.
Okay. Well, my character's not strong at all, but I've actually got pretty high athletics and acrobatics. At least I have decently high ones, so I'm not, I'm not a fucking Make-A-Wish kid with no fucking athletic capability.
Christ. My question is, Tyler, did you even witness that?
You're not strong,
Been
but
in
you
my
could go on a
room,
hike and
so-
not get winded.
Yeah. I could
Yeah,
go on a long run. and
What's
it would be
what's
very
terrifying is that he has been the moth silently watched all of that. He was
Oh
just kind
my
of hiding in
god.
his hammock.
Yeah, Yoich is just going to find others at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, I imagine after Tim Tom finishes that and just kind of like is still searching for more, the fucking moth just drops out of his bunk and Tim Tom hears it.
Tim Tom
Not his
Tim
room,
Tom
his little
stops,
hammock.
like, holding, like, the empty flask, like, trying to hide it. Oh, hey there.
No words needed.
Yoich is about to get fucking strangled.
Yari
Tim
is
find
going
your
to-
Reach's body in the trash compactor.
Tim Tom looks at Yarich. Please don't tell the others.
He's
Please.
gonna tell the others, isn't he?
Yari's just going to look back. He's going to lock the door as he leaves.
Nope.
Wait.
From the outside?
Can they be
You're
locked
locking
outside?
yourself out of the room, and Tim is gonna be able to open it just fine. What are you doing, you fucking potato?
There's...
Are you?
I
Are
don't
you
think
wanting
these
to-
rooms would have to lock from the outside.
I don't even know if they are locked. I don't think they. Yeah.
They
I mean, they could
can
be secured like bulkheads.
I could imagine you could lock them from the inside since there's a personal
Yeah,
quarters.
you can
but-
lock them from the inside, but unless you did some engineering shenanigans, you wouldn't be able to lock him in his own room.
Alright, if that's the case, I won't lock it. I'll just try to get out without
You're
having...
you're hopping over to wherever the largest concentration of people are.
Yeah.
Your choice of Uvan and Ankos or 447 and
Tim
Baco.
Tom is immediately trying to
I
hide
think
all of his progress
Anko's
he's been
probably-
making with making homemade hooch.
So, speaking of Ankos, go ahead and roll an athletics check. So, I imagine as you are fucking around with Uvan, it starts off kind of as like a generalist training from like person to person and seeing what you both are capable of. But it kind of quickly degenerates as you can see that familiar stress and silent anxiety take over, where Uvan is putting more and more force into his hits. And you both are just like going back and forth until the point where you actually start to feel your wrists hurting from Uvan's impacts.
When I feel like it's getting to the point of where, like, he's in danger of rocking my shit, I'm gonna put the gloves down. All right, we're gonna take 5 here.
So he takes a moment, takes a step back, and just starts breathing and kind of almost goes to apologize, but then takes it back.
Nah, don't worry about it. Train as you fight. Don't hold back. But just mind you, I'm a
So,
spindly dude.
As there is a silent moment between you, he kind of looks up, almost as if he's prepared to say something.
Oh, God damn it.
And then as he goes in, it's just like, Ankos, what do you know about? And the door opens and the moth rushes in. And as soon as that happens, he just kind of shuts up and looks down at the moth.
Tom's got his sass back, and he just kind of went mad with it.
He got his flask back.
Yeah, he gave one of the guards a drink. The guard took the entire flask.
And he's got it back and he's going to town.
It sounded like there was nothing but a few droplets, and yet he gulped it down.
Well, it almost sounds like a self-fixing problem. But I guess I should probably go say something.
Yeah.
He hasn't, it was him getting his own flask back. It wasn't him tearing apart parts of the ship. So I'm not inclined to be as rough about it.
But there's still no alcohol in the flask, so that's
Well, that's a good thing.
Well, he still seems desperate. That's my worries.
Like, nothing we've said is taken to heart.
Yeah, nothing.
Alright. I'll go talk to him. And I'll look to Uvan and go, you want to help me deal with a drunken bear? Or not drunken, but... Want to help me deal with this guy? You seem to be pretty good at the whole intimidation thing.
Sure.
So we're gonna go to the cabin.
So with your pretty large backup, you eventually confront and find Tim Tom cleaning his bunk.
I'm just gonna ask, really, dude?
What?
Did nothing we say come through to you at all?
Tim Tom is continuously just making his bed, folding laundry, setting things right.
Well, I guess there wasn't anything in it for you, but you don't want to try to exercise at least a little bit of self-control, a little bit of restraint?
You almost get the sense like Tim Tom wants to answer, but you feel like he just doesn't have the heart to answer. Does it make sense?
No, I got you. Well, I can't really get too mad about it.
Are you done patronizing me today?
So at this point,
are you done indulging in self-destructive behaviors?
Hearing that as you're going to respond to it, Uvon just puts a hand on your shoulder, Angos. Give me a couple seconds to talk to him.
Alright. Sure thing. I'll, want me to wait outside, or you can stay here?
You can go chill out in the living area. It won't be much.
I'm actually probably gonna, I'm gonna tell him to go back to the, 'cause, we didn't clean up after we left stuff.
He kind of gives you a nod. And he walks.
George probably would have cleaned up for them.
He walks in and he shuts
Yeah, but
behind him.
he wouldn't know that. Yeah.
So you are now alone with a person about the size of you.
Tim Tom just kind of stops and looks at him, just sets the shirt that he was folding on the bed.
You
And you're gonna
stupid.
be another individual here that's gonna tell me how to live my life?
No, I'm asking, are you stupid?
I don't know if I am or not, to be entirely honest. Probably am. Yeah, I've been doing some pretty stupid shit lately.
Well, you keep doing stupid shit. He just kind of stops for a moment as if he just doesn't want to engage in conversation anymore. He completely cuts himself off. You know what? Fine. Fuck you. And he just reaches over and smashes you across the face.
Okay, Tim Tom does not appreciate Yeah, and
Gloves are off.
Uh-oh.
First of all, the
Roll
attack.
initiative?
Roll initiative. So a 21, does that hit you?
Okay, hang on. Come on, motherfucker. Roll. Damn it. Hang on. Slash. One.
It's just between
1d20 plus 1. Yeah!
So, you go ahead and take a full force punch to the face.
Wait, how much HP would I have at this point?
Whatever you currently have, it's been.
Remember, your stamina refilled at the end of the.
Very true.
Yeah, but
beginning
how
of
many
the
would I
session.
regain a day?
Since
It's
you
been
are
about
no
2
longer
days.
undergoing medical attention, you would get back 6 points of HP.
Okay.
It's been 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'd be at 12.
That's
So
something we should all be
He
keeping track
goes
of.
ahead and reaches over and just straight up smashes into your muzzle. A 15-point damage blow.
That's a fucking mean left hook.
That is fucking
For
wild.
an unarmed strike, that is bonkers.
Yeah. God damn.
So as
Common-
he smashes into you, now he's going to roll initiative.
Oh, shit.
23.
Fuck.
So as soon as he smashes you across the face, it kind of reels you over to the right, and immediately he just pulls in both arms and goes to seize you in a grapple hold. So this would be... Yes. What's your AC?
Higher than that. Or lower than that.
Lower than that. So he goes ahead and basically grabs you underneath the arm and puts his hand behind your head and slams you down against the desk. Just kind of as it comes to this and you are smushed down onto your own, well, desk, your own table, he just kind of leans down next to your head and goes, I can do this all day. You want to keep acting stupid? It is now your turn.
Yeah, what would Tim Tom do in this moment? Tim
Get his
Tom
ass
does
beat.
not. Tim Tom does not appreciate this.
Go bear mode.
Morbid time.
You wouldn't like me when I'm morbid.
Tim Tom is going to.
Do you have
Tim
that-
Tom is going to attempt to bite the shit out of him.
Fair, give me a attack roll. Do you have a unarmed strike?
I do have unarmed strike. It is part. I do get it as a part of my class, or not part of my class, part of my race.
Let me quickly check. You've got natural weapons like that of a Vesk. So go ahead and make a melee attack with your stabby tool. So you go ahead and as you go and bite down on his arm, you find that there is nothing but just scale armor and the bracers that he currently has on. And he's gonna go ahead and start basically beating you in the back of the face, back of the head. So a
Yes, that
13
fucking hits.
Jesus.
A
So-
32 fucking hits.
Yeah, as you are smushed up against the counter with your face smashed down, you reach over and bite into his arm, and that evokes a growl from this dude who just starts basically smashing your head in.
Imagine he hit head bent.
Wait, 14 points of damage.
Goes to 8. Okay.
On today's episode, Uvon kills all of the party
Just Tim Tom.
with his bare hands.
Alright.
Kill a bear with your bare hands.
So, with another smashing blow, you can very clearly tell that he is willing to continue.
At this point, Tim Tom's more of, like, in panic mode. he's clearly understanding he's getting his shit rocked. And he's just gonna yell at him. He's like, what the hell do you want?
So at this point, he kind of seizes you by your shoulder cuffs and flips you around and smashes you against the wall and just goes, if I have to hear about this one more goddamn time, I'll come back. Alright?
Why do you care?
He's
If
gonna
I'm
read
gonna
up one of his
destroy myself, why do you care?
He's gonna punch you across the face. 17.
Yeah, 17 hits.
You know, normally the alcoholics are the abusive ones.
14 points of damage. So, as you say that, he just smashes you and knocks you out cold. At that point, nobody else can see what he does. Eventually, Uvan returns to the gym. He's actually got some bloody knuckles.
Upon seeing that, I'm just gonna say, oh, please don't tell me that's exactly what I think it is.
He just kind of raises up both of his hands and just goes, shouldn't have anything to worry about anymore. You've got bigger concerns anyway.
I'm gonna grimace and go, how bad is it?
No, he's out cold in his bunk.
Jesus Christ. Is not an actual person, this person. I don't know why I keep his name.
I'm just saying the dude brought it on himself. If I had to keep hearing about that stupid shit.
I still think that he probably should have gone into the rig before we beat the shit out of him, but...
If he does it one more time, then we know that he's got no self-control. We'll talk about it with Zach.
Alright, well, he'll wake up eventually, and I'm sure we'll get to hear about it.
Well, anyway, I think I've had my romp for the night. And he picks up his shit. Kind of gives you a small salute. Almost as if he's a bit more clear of mind. And leaves.
I'm gonna kind of just hang around in there for a little bit, absorbed in thoughts as to whether or not I think that was actually the right thing. Just kind of decide. I don't think there is a right answer in this situation, and leave and go back to my bunk as well. Or go to take one of those nice, wonderful, fucking
Sonic
pressure showers that are fucking horrifying.
Yeah, no, you step in, and immediately, like, you just see that there is a headset hanging from a hook. And the shower has, like, wording that basically says, before engaging this, please put this on.
How is Yarge supposed to do that?
It's just a terrifying experience.
I will carefully, apprehensively put it on, and then whatever button I think activates this contraption, I will shakily press it.
So as you're left in the nightmare shower, the rest of the party continues about their business. Training's going well. Tim Tom.
Yep.
You wake up and a bloody pile on your desk.
Tim Tom, like, reaches one of his hands into his mouth, pulls out the loose tooth, and kind of just sits there for a moment. Walks up to the door. Locks it. Puts a chair up against it.
The chair is a sliding door. And a folded
Does it
chair
anyways.
in your desk.
But he locks the door and just kind of sits down in his own bed. And, like, massaging his gums from the fact that he's got knocked the fuck out. And, starts eyeballing his fucking medicine kit a little bit.
No.
Great.
Wow,
So,
it made it worse.
That, as you were eyeballing your shit, will be the end of tonight's session.
I didn't realize you were going into the
episode,
Tim Tom
our
alcoholism
daring
arc.
adventurers fight their most fearsome enemy of all, substance abuse. God.
And I got a decent amount of roleplay in this time.
Don't lie, this was fun.
Yeah, it was great.
No, this is great. It's just that we go from fighting vampires to being
got his
intergalactic
fucking
criminals
ass
to
beat.
having a fucking AA meeting.
Hey, take it from someone who's had to witness fucking out people with alcoholism. Alcoholism is a hard drug to fucking get over.
Yes,
So-
and who better to play the role than you, Matt?
So the title of the episode is Alcoholics Anonymous, right?
Oh god.
I was gonna say have a seat, but
Have seats.
Christ.
Seed or Alcoholics Anonymous work?
I was thinking just intervention.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
intervention
too.
works.
Yeah.
Intervention.
Okay,
Hey.
well with that, I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording here.